Hey guys, it's Christina. This is Vox and Guest, and I am here tonight with 3/4, 75% of one of my favorite bands, Aurora Fallen. Say hi, guys.
What's up?
Hi.
Hi, guys.
How's it going?
I was waiting for someone to actually say hi, guys, and thank you for doing that, Phil. No,
Sure.
They're here, and I'm so happy that they're here, and we have a lot to talk about. But before we do that, why don't you guys just quickly say hello, introduce yourselves, tell everybody what you do in the band.
My name's Owen. I am the lead singer and rhythm acoustic guitar player.
I'm Felipe. I play bass, and I joined the band like 6 months ago.
June, yeah.
I'm the new guy.
You're the new guy. All right.
Definitely. Phil, I am a master of the percussional arts, or a drummer if you want to be a dick about it.
And we do. And then we are unfortunately missing Cole, lead guitar, but Cole is with us in spirit, and maybe there are pieces of Cole's hair scattered on the floor there from the last time he was around. You never know. So he could be there.
Well,
there you go. We should just put it up on a chair.
His hair's on my undershirt.
Which raises a whole bunch of questions I'm not going to ask, but there we go. So, okay, listen, before we get into it, guys, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you were prepared, but my thing is to start every interview off with like a really serious, like intense, meaningful question. I feel like it really helps open the band up right away. I don't want to say you might want to get Kleenex or whatever, but if you need it, hopefully it's nearby. But we're gonna do this. We'll get it out of the way, and then we'll talk about other stuff. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Once and for all, what is the superior form of potato? I know. I told you. We're not fucking around here.
It's 2023. It's roast potatoes.
No.
Like smashed and roast.
What does
Crispy
that have to do with
outside.
2023? That's like 2020.
Well, I mean, if you had asked me 10 years ago, it would have been French fries. But I'm not sure.
Okay, so 2013 was the year of French fries, but 2023 it's the glow up is okay. So roasted.
That's my reality.
Roasted smashed potatoes. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
And are we salting? Are we parsleying? Are we garlicking? What are we doing?
Yes.
Yes, and yes.
Yes.
Okay, and are we? Key question: is there dippage? Condimentary art.
That's personal taste.
Okay, all right. So, but you are firm in 2023 being the year of the smashed roasted potato. Okay, all right. Who else?
Maybe 2024, depending on when this goes out.
Okay, yeah, no, it won't be. Well, actually, no, it could be. Yeah, so geez. Okay, so shit, Felipe, what have you done? What if this airs in January and you are in obsolete Potatoville? Do you see what you've done to yourself? I don't know.
Yeah.
Rethink your life right now. But all right.
We need a backup.
Okay.
All right.
We need a backup.
Okay. So listen, let's go to the more forward-thinking members of the band then, who are not rooted for the year. Let's see who's taking it next. Phil, are you gonna lay down? Do you have a? Is this the year of something for you, or is it just?
I think the all-time winner is going to be Loaded Mashed for me. Yeah.
Oh, loaded mashed, not loaded baked. Okay. So, and pardon the phrasing of this, but what is your load like? Are we talking? Yeah, I know. Are we talking sour cream? Are we butter? Are we chives? What are we bacon? What's going on?
Yes, and yes. Keep going.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, geez. What else? Chives, salt and pepper, I assume.
Gonna have the bacon, the salt and pepper. Yeah.
Okay.
At least you said sour cream. Yeah,
I did say sour cream. I did, which is
else?
Cheese.
Cheese. Shredded cheese. Yes. Cheddar.
cheese.
Gotta have the cheddar. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. At that point, it's kind of like a salad, but okay. All right. So we're going with, and you're saying this in the year of our Lord 2023, despite what Felipe has said, you're going with loaded mashed for an all-time thing. All right, Owen.
This is a lifetime thing. Yes.
Okay.
Owen, from beginning to end, whenever it is that I die, that will be my preference.
To be fair, we live in Montana, and we're an arbitrary number of years behind where you guys are.
Okay, so like in New York, it's like the year 3000, and we're eating like
To us?
potato pellets that come out of our robot's ass or something.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Exactly.
All right, Owen,
You
tell me, Owen, what are we doing with potatoes in Owenville?
It is loaded steak fries.
Wait, what? Okay, loaded steak fries.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you putting the same shit on your steak fries that Phil is
No.
putting on? Oh,
No, it's just a very healthy amount of cheese,
okay,
some bacon,
okay. Gravy?
ranch to dip.
You lost me at ranch. Ugh.
Ranch to dip. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Wait. We have steak fries.
Yep.
They have cheese on them.
Yep.
They have bacon bitlets attached.
Yep.
And you're putting that in ranch dressing.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think I've ever heard of anybody dipping fries into ranch. Is that like a Montana thing?
I mean,
Oh.
Whoa.
that's
I thought that was
weird.
an
I
American
thought that
thing.
was everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
Like I-
really?
I grew up in Florida, and like
Yeah.
ranch was
Both of us
like
said.
on everything.
California
French
was-
fries.
Is that weird?
Whatever. Yeah.
I grew
Are
up
we
in
being
California. It was the same thing.
See, now here in New York, we have
Maybe.
two things. We have disco fries, which is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard, but
Tell me
it's like
more.
fries with cheese and like brown gravy.
That's
Okay.
That's a
poutine.
thing.
Yeah. I can see
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Or just like fries with either ketchup or like I'm a mayo girl with my fries or, but I don't think I've ever heard of fries with ranch.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. If you want,
I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
gonna have to.
Dairy free ranch, but I'm going to have to try that.
Servers here literally ask you if you want ranch for your fries.
Yeah.
Okay. Look
And,
at this.
and they take their ranch game pretty
Yeah, it's,
seriously.
More
it's
often
usually
than-
homemade.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
often than ketchup, too. I mean,
I agree.
they hardly even offer ketchup
I
anymore.
agree.
Yeah.
You know, we
Okay.
call fries, cheese, and gravy, we call that poutine.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
cheese curds, but same difference.
Yeah. No, I okay. So, wow, I'm going to have to attempt that. So we do not though have a quorum here. We do not have a banned
Oh,
potato like
I mean, it's not
Highlander.
like an issue in the band. It hasn't
Yeah.
come up before.
No,
well,
I mean-
now I've sown dissent among the ranks. I think that's my fault. If Aurora Fallen breaks up now, it's my fault because of the potato thing. But it seems
Definitely.
like you guys, with the exception of Felipe, who I understand you're new. So I mean, we can't expect too much from you at this point, potato wise. But like,
I'd still
we
eat
have, we have two loaded situations. If you loaded your 2023
Yeah,
potatoes,
your
we could,
2023.
yeah.
Can we work on our phrasing a little bit? But like food-wise specifically, yeah, you can throw some ketchup on that bitch. Yeah, it'd be
Okay.
great.
I don't think that counts as loaded, dude.
Right,
But
yeah,
all right.
At least
All right.
there's some
Okay.
Parmesan on
So
it.
we ooh.
hot sauce.
Mayonnaise and hot sauce. Like
What
that's
is
all
happening
yours.
right now? I feel like okay. All right. So all
Are
I
we
know
too into
is
this?
is that potatoes must have a thing on them and that it is not like it's not usually ketchup. Okay. All right. Now I learned something today. I feel like this was like a Reading Rainbow episode for me. I have to go try ranch on French fries, which seems unholy to me. I don't know how I missed this
Oh,
this
the more you
zeitgeist.
know.
You're gonna love it.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's it, guys. Thanks for coming. This was great. Where are we going to go from here? But
We nailed it.
okay,
This
so
could've
we
been an email
did.
meeting.
We completely. I mean, like you guys. You. What does anyone else need to know about? Find them on Spotify, whatever. But the potato thing really is. Okay, so let us talk about. Oh, I don't know, the band. How about we do that? Let's move into the music a little bit.
Is that what
I would like to get at first before we even get into Aurora Fallen. Why don't you guys each tell me how you got into music in the first place? Like baby Owen, baby Phil, baby Felipe. How did you guys find music and what did that look like for each of you? And I don't know who wants to start, but you're going to have to pick somebody.
I feel like we had a good thing going with the potato thing and let you start.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Do you remember Ghostbusters, the cartoon?
Yeah.
That intro, the electric guitar intro.
That was your gateway to music?
That's as far back as I can pinpoint.
I think you're right, Owen. Letting Felipe start seems to be like a good Vegas move here because I can honestly say no one has ever pointed to the Ghostbusters cartoon.
Oh, that's
It's usually like I heard Pink Floyd, and you're like, no. Have you seen the Ghostbusters cartoon though?
So
Okay.
I mean, I didn't have the benefit of listening to my parents' music, absorbing all that. So I kind of had to find it for myself. And I was a
Okay.
little kid, so yeah, I absorbed what I had, and that was the Ghostbusters intro theme song. And I
love
remember
that.
like air guitaring that.
I love that. That's
Yeah,
adorable.
I didn't. Yeah, I've heard that before. And then eventually I picked up a guitar like when I was like 19 or something, and then.
I'm sorry. I have this image that every time you ever went out like looking for a date, you were like,
I always bring it up.
"Hey, baby."
It's my litmus.
You ever watched the?
Are you the Ghostbusters cartoon? Because you're getting me real interested right now. That's what that's yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
the
all
big
right.
question is, did you ever pantomime any musical instruments when you were a child? And then how long did it take you to actualize that?
Wow,
What?
that's your date question.
Felipe is a physical scientist.
Okay, makes
Yeah.
a little more sense now. I was going to say, how long have you been single, Philippe?
1 week, Christina.
Oh no, I hope that's not true. I'm sorry.
Oh,
You're gonna be snapped up
I didn't even know that.
instantaneously. This dude is no, guys, ladies, if he's available, which he may or may not actually be, snap him up. Anybody who likes the Ghostbusters cartoon is good fucking people in my book. So you're
Cool.
a physical scientist too. Okay, so
Yeah.
you heard this guitar, it lit up your brain, and then when did
Lit
you
up something,
actually?
Yeah,
I believe it. I have all
I'm
kinds.
not kidding. Like,
No, I'm not either.
It moved me, and it made me want to
Yeah.
like I was always a shy kid.
Okay.
I didn't grow up. I grew up in Florida, as did Owen. But I wasn't born here, so I moved to Florida when I was like 5.
Okay.
So a lot of my early childhood was like desperately trying to fit in with
Mm-hmm.
the kids around me, which that's hard to begin
So hard. Yeah, absolutely.
with. But yeah, like I mean, it just it
I
felt
love
something.
that.
I
No, I
danced
love
around
that.
the living room, and then eventually I actually tried it for real.
So when did you actually get a guitar? And
I
did
was like
you
19.
start with guitar?
Yeah.
Because usually when I talk to bass players, very rarely do they start with bass. It's usually,
'Cause they're
well, I
good
wanted to
bass
play
players,
guitar, but then we
probably.
needed a bass player. Yeah. So
The
was
bassists that you probably talk to are actually bass players and good at what they do. I am doing my best. Try not to let these guys down.
No, I'm sorry, party foul. No, you don't get to ding yourself like that.
I mean, if we're gonna, it's imposter syndrome. We can
Yeah.
we can start the conversation
About
with
that
something
now.
like that.
Oh man, you and I are going to need to sit down with some ranch and some 2023 potatoes and talk that through, dude, because I feel you so hard on that. No, I think and I mean, like, if you got lit up by that, and I understand that, actually, I'm teasing you a little bit because I like you, but like it's I know that I remember there being certain sounds from certain movies or cartoons or things like that when I was a kid that I was like, and it just lit up my brain for some reason. And I love that that's the thing that you stuck with. That's the cutest thing I've ever heard. So, okay. So how old were you when you started playing for real?
Like 19.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So that was a while then. Okay.
Yeah. I'm in my mid 40s. Yeah.
Well, no, but I mean, you were 5 when you got lit up
To
with
America? Yeah, we didn't have Ghostbusters in Brazil.
No, but that's when you heard it, right? That's when you first
That's
started
correct.
to get, yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay. So did you do music in school or anything in the meantime? Were you in band? Were you in...
No. Like, I was very active in my church growing up.
Okay.
I think I took like a few drum lessons actually from somebody in our church, and it was
Okay.
cool. Like, I may have missed my calling. I don't know, but I mean, I'm sure most people that are listening to this are music fans. Music is kind of tough. Like, there's there's a big learning curve there, and I don't think a lot of people get over that. I don't even know if I actually did, but somehow I'm here.
All right, we're gonna have to give you lots of musical hugs through the course of this because you're not allowed to think that way about yourself. But okay, we will leave it there. So you
Sure,
got into guitar, and then was that bass from the beginning or was it guitar?
Guitar. I really didn't start playing bass like seriously until I met Owen. Actually, we met at one of their shows, and they decidedly did not have a bassist on stage, which is weird for a rock band.
Okay.
And I've been playing in a punk rock cover band, And yeah, and then like you had mentioned something, and then I drunkenly was like, I can play bass. How hard can it be?
You were just like you were high on smashed potatoes, and you were gonna say whatever. So okay, so that's when you started playing bass.
Yeah, seriously, sure, yeah.
That's a bold move, dude. Okay, I like it.
It's like a third of the strings, like it's easier, but it's not actually. Like
no, it's really not.
I've been challenged by this for sure.
Okay, cool. No, but that's good. That's it. You seem more than up for it. So okay, all right. We will come back to themes of that. But who's going next? Phil, Owen, who's taking it on next?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors, point.
Yes, it's me. That was one of the worst games of direct this. That was the worst game. That was the worst game of rock, paper, scissors I've ever played.
We're gonna have to teach Owen how that game is supposed to go. But all right, Phil, it's
I'm sure
you.
He knows, but
Tell us about LA. Phil.
Huh?
Tell us about LA.
Yeah, Phil, tell us about
Let's
LA.
get the fuck out of there as often as I could.
Okay. All right. So, how did you become a musician?
So I'm from a very small town in California. Hardly anybody's ever heard of it. Have you ever heard of Tuolumne, California?
No.
That's okay. I get it.
Tuolumne you.
Tuolumne you.
Us.
Anyway, so my dad was a musician. He was a guitar player, and he played bass. He sang. He actually was capable of recording his own music. And so, anyways, the funny thing is that he always struggled trying to find percussion in those when he played. And so I can't really put an age on it or anything like that, but I was just a kid. And, to connect with me more, he got me a set of bongos. And so that's kind of how I learned how to count and keep a beat and everything like that.
Okay, cool.
As time went on, I mean, I actually was able to join some various bands and play some drums and stuff like that. And, just kind of got, a little better, a little bit more addicted to it. And I had about a 20-year break before Owen and I linked up.
Wow. Okay. So
And,
was that by choice, or you just didn't have anybody to hook up with to play? Or
so kind of. I mean, we'll dig a little deeper into my life.
Deflower yourself.
Deflower yourself.
Sure. Open up.
So I struggled with some addiction.
okay.
Mainly alcohol. You notice that I'm the only one with a water glass here out of these guys. Anyways, so mainly addiction, and so it only counts if you don't have that in your hand. Anyways, so I struggled with addiction like really bad when I was younger. I mean, mostly alcohol, and so it was one of those things that was just a trigger for me for the longest time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm actually 9 years sober now.
That's amazing. Good for you, dude. Wow.
These guys are super cool about it. They're super supportive. I mean, and they don't pressure me whatsoever or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's actually something that doesn't really trigger where I was in my life. And so Owen's, since I moved to Montana, he's become one of my best freaking friends. I mean, this dude's like a brother to me. And then Felipe, I mean, I think we adopted him like 6 months ago. So.
I don't blame you. Yeah. No, you three, I mean, I should mention to everybody watching that like we actually talked for like 40 minutes before we even started the interview because we were just having fun. Like you three are like, I love you already. So I could see why it's a safe place for you to be able to be back in music without having to worry about it setting you off in any way that you absolutely do. I mean, 9 years, man, that is fucking, let's pause on that for a second because that is like 100 days is amazing. 9 years is incredible. So I'm so glad that you're good and you're healthy. And you should be. Absolutely. So, okay. So you had that very long break. You grew by leaps and bounds and you are back. And so was it with this band that you, or at least when you met Owen, that you got back into drums?
Yeah. So, I mean, Owen and I known each other for years beforehand. I mean, we'd done several nonprofit projects around town and stuff. And to be perfectly honest, I had no idea this guy was a musician. Of all things that I knew about him as being one of my best freaking friends, I had no idea that he was a musician until a certain Facebook post went out one day. we need a master of the percussional art. No, it was a drummer. He was looking for a drummer. Anyway, so
he keeps saying that phrase.
No, he's gonna make fetch happen by the end of this interview. That is so fetch. Everyone will be calling it master of the percussional arts. I'm already sold. I'm married. I'm married to one, so I know now what I have to call him.
You have seen Half Baked, right?
A long time ago.
Okay,
yeah,
so
but I didn't place it from there.
I became a master of the custodial arts or a janitor if you want to be a dick about
Oh yeah,
there you go. Okay, that's what it's from. Okay, I was like, I know that's from something, but okay, all right.
I just had to
so
put my own twist in there. Pretty creative.
You didn't know he was a musician until he posted looking for a drummer on Facebook?
I had no idea, and so to be honest, I mean, I had my own kit, which is sitting behind us here, and I started moving stuff out and came over here and everything like that, and it was like, okay, so I am just rusty as hell. I mean, I haven't played in years, let alone with other musicians and stuff like that. And so when we started playing, we saw the potential, but it needed a lot of work. So
okay,
that's. I mean, for what it's worth, that's just kind of where we're at today is like, you know, through the encouragement, constant practice, and everything, you know, I mean, that's kind of what brought me back to it and my love for it and everything like that. So
are we allowed to ask each other questions? Is that cool?
Sure. I love that. Go for it.
I haven't heard this part of it before.
As far as I'm concerned, dude, you and I became best friends when you talked about Ghostbusters, so you can kind of do whatever the fuck you want. Go for it. Ask him a question.
Are you hesitant to answer the call just because of like your past? And
it's a great question.
Like falling back into
to be honest, I'm not really sure. I mean, how do I put that? I had a drum kit for a reason, so obviously the passion was still there. I tried to sell it several times and just get completely out of music. That never happened. So obviously there was some other plan there and everything. And then I guess for what it's worth, Owen already knew that I was sober. And so has been nothing but supportive since the day I walked in here.
Yeah.
Well, and before that. But I'm trying to think how long we've known each other. I mean, I sobered up in 2014. So it's probably been about that long. So, I mean, close to, or give or take a year or two.
A couple of years, yeah.
Anyways, but he's always been supportive. And so the fact is that I felt safe, you know?
Yes.
I just didn't feel pressured by anything or anything like that. I mean, my decision to not drink is my decision.
Right. Exactly.
I don't pressure them to say, okay, look, you're making me uncomfortable. This wouldn't be my environment or my place to walk in there and say, okay, you guys are going to change your shit up because you need me in here and I'm sober. You know, I don't push that ideology on anybody. It's either I'm going to free myself or I'm not. So,
and credit to Bill. I mean, well, sure, of course we would never pressure you, but you know, he's pretty steadfast in it. Like, I don't think that it'd be that easy to, you know.
No, and I actually also get the sense that if they thought it was better, they would probably offer not to drink either. You know what I mean? Like, you guys just seem to. You've had some really nice moments even before we started rolling around that, and I love that. I love that. And you said it. You said exactly the thing. It's that you felt safe. Like that once you feel safe, everything opens up, like everything. It doesn't matter what it is because you know that you can be yourself. You don't have to, you know, worry about anything. And then all that bandwidth can just go to what you want to focus on, which.
Yeah. Well, you heard it when you know, before you went live on this. I mean, Felipe even asked, I mean, you mind if I, something to the effect of, you mind if I have a glass of this or whatever?
Yeah. Is it okay if I drink something, whatever? Yeah. And there was a bro hug and everything. No, that's what I mean. Like first of all, I mean, let's just say a couple things here. Like, guys watching and listening to this, like you are staring at three guys who make kick-ass fucking music. And obviously there's a fourth who's involved in that too. I don't want to leave Cole out, but like who get what actually being a man is about, right? It's not this bro bullshit, whatever. Like, it's about being real and vulnerable and safe and talking about shit or whatever. You guys are in for a treat tonight. You really are. But okay. So you found your people, your person, you know, and now Felipe's in your people too. And Cole obviously among the people as well. And then I guess that leads us to you, Owen, and how you got into music in the first place.
How much time you got, by the way?
93 hours. That is the minimum episode length for this show.
Can you squeeze in at least 10 more?
Owen's going to start talking like an auctioneer just to get it all in here.
I got it. Whatever. Just got all in and I start picking up the guitar and start playing it. No.
Okay, but I didn't say boomhauer. I said auctioneer. But all right, so go ahead. How did it happen in the most crystallized form that you can give me?
Okay, so I was born deaf. I didn't hear until I was 2 years old. And my nanny at the time had MTV on. And that was the first thing that I heard.
Okay, all right. Yeah, all right. 93 hours is not going to cut it. Wait, so you were born deaf, and then what happened? Did you get implants? Was there some sort of physical block?
Yeah, so it's pretty common. Well, I don't know if it's pretty common, but
I hadn't heard of
so most people that are born without eustachian tubes, like they've got they've got the implants that you can get for those. And mine, being back in the 80s, it was very archaic medicine. So it was like they took glass tubes and stuck them in to create them, which in turn built them out of scar tissue. But along with that came with like 12 years of constant ear infections.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then, so going into middle school, I had been listening to a lot of while growing up, I listened to a lot of B.B. King, Miles Davis,
Okay.
And so when middle school came up and they were like, hey, do you want to join the band? I was like, sure. And started off by playing the trumpet. Went through my entire school career from then on playing trumpet, went into the Marine Corps playing the trumpet.
Okay.
And then that was when I picked up my first guitar.
Okay.
So after I picked up my guitar, I just started playing, and I was stationed in Virginia Beach. So we would go down to the boardwalk, and the videos that you see of people making random songs for people walking by. That's what I was doing back in 2002.
Okay.
I knew how to play a C, a G, and a D, and that's all I played.
That's really all you need, yeah.
And people walking by, I would just start singing about them, and they would stop, and it just turned into a thing that I started to. You
invented the internet, dude! Holy shit!
Yeah,
that's what you did. You were TikTok before TikTok was TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
But wait a minute. Oh, and I got to go back a little bit because I love how you were so I was born deaf, and then when I was 2, I heard MTV, and then we're in middle school, and we're gonna have to go back to 2 at this point for a little bit here. So, you heard MTV. Do you remember what the first song? You can't because you're 2. Okay, but all right. So, what year was this?
86.
Okay, so we have a sense of what kind of music was on around that time. So that is a hell of a way to come into the hearing world. Is MTV in the mid '80s? But okay, so you were you immediately drawn to music at that point too?
Or was it just
you? Okay,
I think I was because anytime the radio was on, I don't care if I knew the lyrics or not. I was still singing along.
Okay, and so
I was that kid.
Yeah. So
on English speakers do the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck we're saying.
But okay, so you were singing before you were playing the trumpet.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you talked about instrument, but you didn't talk about your singing. So okay, so you wow, that's an amazing. Each of you has managed to come up with a fabulous musician villain origin story. I love this. This is so great. So okay, so unfortunately we don't know. Cole's not here to tell his story, but why don't you talk about
Cole's story?
Okay, go for it. Tell Cole's. Holy shit! Go ahead, hold up his guitar and make it talk and tell. No, you just tell this. What's Cole's story?
So Cole growing up, his parents ended up separated, and one of the guys that came into his life was a guitar player, and just kind of took him under his wing and really started teaching him, and he became like, I mean, it's hard to describe. Like, the kid's just freaking gifted.
He's very talented.
Like, ridiculous.
He's much younger than we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, but I mean, like, he's got the same, I don't know, even though he's younger, he still has that same feel of music that all of us do.
So he's almost like a Johnny Lang, where, you know, you have this like 18-year-old kid who's playing like, you know, 80-year-old guy blues. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I
not that big of a gap in age difference, but not that far off either.
I wasn't calling him 19, and I wasn't calling you guys 80, but yeah, you get my point. So okay, so he got brought in. Okay, and so then you guys formed in 2021, right? Aurora Fallen. Okay.
Yes.
And so was this did somebody start it? Was it you, Owen, or did you guys all kind of, because I know, again, Felipe's the newest one just from this year, but like, did the three of you decide that you were going to make a band? Was it, you know, you were looking for a drummer, so was it for this band, or?
Yeah, so Felipe and I actually talked about it back in 2020, and we just plotted it out to where 2023 he would actually join the band.
Nah, that's
I'm gonna call bullshit on that. There's no way you're letting. There's a no. I'm sorry. You lose all of your coins, and now you don't get to talk for 3 minutes. So no. Okay. So all right. Okay. So the actual story is
the actual story. So back in 2020 was going through a lot of life stuff that a lot of people did. Mine was not because of shutdown or anything. It was just because I still went out into the world and did normal human stuff.
Okay.
Because we could. So it was more just general house things that happened, and put me into a pretty rough space. Coming out of it, I was pretty much like, I've put music off for way too long. Mm-hmm. Started a family, and when I started my family, it was kind of like, time to put childish things away, right?
Yeah.
And
just so ironic. That's when you need them the most, but yeah.
Right. So the dream of being a rock star was put to bed, and I joined the working class for a long time, 15 years before I started playing again. Wow. And because of that event, that's actually where Crowzone came from.
Yeah.
And
we're going to get to that.
Yeah. So I said, you know what, fuck it. Like, I'm to the point now where, like, my kids can take care of themselves. I can focus a little bit on me too, you know?
Yeah.
So I started jamming with a few guys, and then one of them, it just was not his style, very young, like 18-year-old kid that he wanted to get more into metal, and that's just not. Yeah,
you're not a metal. Yeah. You're not a metal guy.
So he left, and then it was just me and then another guitarist who was a younger kid, talented, but same thing. Like, he played with us for probably a year and just got to a point where he was just like, I'm just not like 100% invested in this. I think I want to start my own thing. And I was like, cool. I mean, go do it, Right. The drummer that I had started with decided to join the Navy.
Okay. That's a reasonable reason not to be around. So, okay, that's fair.
And then the bass player that I had decided to move north of where we are. So I was back to being by myself, and I was like, well, all right. So I posted one day saying, hey, I need a lead guitarist, a drummer, and a bass player.
A master of the percussionary arts.
A drummer. Right, I was looking for a drummer.
Yeah, actually, in his defense, he didn't post he was looking for a master of the percussional arts. He actually did say drummer.
Okay.
So then finally Phil actually like got a hold of me and was like, hey man, it's funny because I've been thinking about possibly maybe starting to play again. And I was like, well, what better time than now? And he said, okay. And then Cole messaged me like a couple hours later. And then, yeah, and he was like, hey man, yeah, I've been looking for somebody to jam with. And, I was like, cool, why don't you come over? We'll, have a little session and see if we jive. And like in between, it was weird because like we had like 2 or 3 days before we were actually going to get together. And like, we were just messaging each other back and forth. And I was like, did we just become best friends? And he was like, yeah, I think we did. So
much room for activities. Yeah. Okay. So that's a pretty good day if you find your drummer and your lead guitar player within the course of a couple of hours. Okay. And so then you are a band. And then just to fast forward because I know everyone's wanting to hear a song and we're going to be playing it in just a minute, guys, but you get to 2023 and you find young Squire over here for bass. So you were at a show of theirs, happened to notice they didn't have a bass player and thought, I can do that.
That's pretty noticeable. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the cardboard cutout on the stage. So, okay. So, and was that just you guys just hadn't picked up a bass player at that point? So you'd been together for 2 years and you didn't have a bass player, or was there like a?
So we had Was
it like Spinal Tap or
decided to move, and then I had one guy that joined, and then like he had just had a kid like a couple of months prior to, and all sorts of stuff was going on. And I was like, hey man, like, do you have time to do this? And he was like, to be honest with you, I don't. So then that was when we lost the bass player. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of fucking waiting for a bass player. So I'm just going to start booking shows. I don't give a shit. So that's literally what we did.
It sounded pretty good. Like surprisingly good. I think they just, did some EQ tweaks and it sounded good.
Okay.
So in addition to being the bass player, you're also our number one fan.
Look at that. Look at the bromance. I love it. So, all right, listen.
It's pretty strong over here. Yeah.
It is, and I'm here for it. But okay, listen, the crowd wants a song, and I think that this is before we go any further in talking about anything, we think we need to let everybody hear it. So we had a very long debate among us about which song we were going to play. And I'm very happy with the one that was chosen. Not that I had anything to do with it at all, but why don't you guys just a little bit tell everybody about Paradise, and then we'll play it and we'll come back and we'll talk about it more.
So Paradise is a song about basically no matter where you are in the world, you're always going to find your way home.
Okay, look at that. I think that's good. I think we should go on that. Guys, this is, you are in for such a treat. I love this song so much. I'm obsessed with it. So this is, without further ado, Paradise by Aurora Fallen.
Into
Okay. So, all right. I got to get the knee up for this because I just do. I love this song. When I'm excited about things, the crowd knows at this point, the knee comes out, and that's just, we call it kneevage. That's what we get. So you're getting kneevage on this song. I love this song. I love this song. I am obsessed with it. And I mentioned to you guys when we were, debating which one to play that it in part reminds me of my favorite Alice in Chains song, which I've mentioned before on this show, is Nutshell. And there's something about that song, and something about this song that just, there's a thing in music that doesn't happen often, but there's just a longing, like a beautiful longing in some notes and some chords and some vocals and some timbres and just some percussion and some of how it all comes together. And this song hits that for me. And I wasn't kidding when I told you before that I've had it on loop. Like I am obsessed with it. And the highest compliment I can pay it is that I wish I had gotten to sing harmonies on this song. I love this song. I sing along with it every time I hear it. And it just makes me so happy. And I do hear Alice in Chains. I hear Nutshell. I also hear a song, and I say this all the time, but I only ever make comparisons when they're favorable. So even if you guys aren't happy with the things I'm naming, I mean it as a compliment. But there's a song that nobody knows but me, apparently, called In the Sun by Joseph Arthur. And it's just this beautiful building kind of, it's got that thing that I was trying to describe earlier. And it's like, if Nutshell and In the Sun had a baby, and the baby grew up and it was amazing, it would be paradise. I love this song. I do. I get Temple of the Dog. I get all kinds of stuff that I love. And I mean, from the first line, it got me. Like, it's such a great lyric. I know you, I love you well. Like, it's such a great lyric. Like, and I love the way it flips. I love everything. So I want to talk about this because we only have 3 songs from this band so far, guys. There's more coming, so don't cry. But the 3 ones will get you through for quite a while. But like, I love this song so much. So talk to me about writing it, like the lyrics, the whole thing. I need to know because it's just such a great song. Can you tell that I like it? I don't know. Is it coming through? I do. I really do. I wish if you ever re-record this for any reason, you need backup vocals for harmonies, I am signing up. I will pay you to do it. But yeah, so talk to me about this song. How did this one come into being?
It's funny that you mentioned that because we will be re-recording it for an album version.
Okay.
So
don't worry, you don't have to have me do it. I'll sing it home alone. I will.
You're doing it.
It's signed. Like, it's done. This is now a legal binding contract.
Okay, great. I'm in. I'm here for it. So okay. So all right. So good. Well, that's exciting. I will try not to pee myself. But go ahead. Tell me the story. Tell me the story of this one because I really. I mean, I'm half kidding, but like I liked it right away, but the more I listen to it, the more I fall in love with it. And like, that's a tricky thing to pull off. A lot of times you will get tired of a song the more you hear it. This is the exact opposite thing for me. And I keep hearing nuances and whatever. So I will let you answer the question, but I'm so curious, like, how'd you write it? What was the inspiration, all of that?
So I wrote this song living in Florida. I was working for a company that did kind of rent to own design. Okay. And I was a general manager of a store that was 2 hours away from home.
Ooh, that's a commute.
So I lived there Monday through Saturday usually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because, as a general manager, they would get pretty high demand.
Yeah.
For your time. So I was working 16, 18 hours a day. And then to drive back 2 hours.
Yeah, that would have been it. Like,
that would have been
between working and then 4 hours of driving, you're done. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You get like an hour of sleep and you're good. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one night I was sitting there on a beanbag, giant beanbag chair, because I had no other furniture. Or no, it was an inflatable chair. Sorry.
That just downgraded considerably, but okay. All right. Was it like one of those hands or?
No, it was just one of those, like, just,
okay.
blow up chairs. There was nothing special.
We won't talk about what you did with the blow up chair after the lights went out. But okay, all right. So there's
edit Greg.
So I was just sitting there and I started kind of playing around and found this progression that started to speak to me. That it was it's a very basic progression. Like, there's nothing real spectacular about that progression that I do. So then all of a sudden I started singing along, got a little melody going, and then started writing out some lyrics. And then it was just, I don't know, one of those nights where it was kind of, knew that my family was missing me, knew that I was missing them. And, the best way that I can express myself is through music.
Mm-hmm.
So that's...
and I really... if the lyrics had been absolute shit, I still would have loved the song, because it is just it's a great phrase. It's a great progression. Like, it just builds in such a cool way. And your vocals I love the grit, I get some Cornell vibes off of that from the vocals. I do. I'm not overstating it, people. You just heard the fucking song. Like, I really, it just does it for me. It really does. But the lyrics, and I was so happy that Spotify had them, and so I'm sitting there and I'm like, because I love anything that plays with language like that. The I know, I know, and I know, and and so I was already hooked with that. But the imagery is so great, the just the burning photo. There's like all this stuff to it that I really it's so evocative. And it's interesting because you do a smart thing, whether it's intentionally or not. But the lyrics, they will guide you to an idea of what they're about, but it's not so specific that people can't overlay their own interpretation onto it, which makes it so much broader, and that longing, though, that I mentioned, that makes sense now because of how it's in there, it's baked in. I fucking love this song. I really do. I'm sorry. I really do. Because when I cannot stop singing something, that's when I know that it's got me. Like, and even if it's something that I wouldn't ordinarily be able or, willing or like think I should sing on or whatever, it's just like, there's just, the song is always in my head, like since I started hearing it. But like, so given though that it was recorded in April, and our stellar friend here, Felipe, did not join you until June, this was obviously not a Felipe production. So what was and I know that was true for Crowzone too, but I'm assuming, Felipe, that you were on Daily Limit, yes?
No, is there a baseline? Oh yeah, no, we're actually working on a recording right now where I may or may not be on it.
He will be.
I'm still not.
I have a mentor in Florida. His name's Kevin. Shout out. What's up, dude?
Okay.
But specifically, do you mind if I say something about Daily Limit?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I tried out for the band, I listened to not Daily Limit. Sorry. Crowzone and Paradise. That's what was on. And obviously, I love both of them right away.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I figure out how to play these songs. And then if I may, this might be personal with your family. Is that okay? So in practicing,
I love these guys. All the consent and the boundaries. I want to hug all of you. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. So yes, you were listening, you were practicing, and Daily Limit.
I absolutely love the whole broad appeal thing. I think that's important to people. Like when someone hears a song and they take meaning from it that's important to them, and they tie it to their own life, that's amazing. And that's why artists should be very careful about talking about what the song's about and what led them to led them to write the song. But from hearing it for myself, it's like, okay, I know Owen, like this is about him and his, you know, his family and his wife. And a really touching moment that happened for me is a number of practices ago. We were practicing it, and you know, we're in his house, and you know, his wife came in and kind of gave him a kiss and then walked out. And I was like, that makes absolute sense. I literally never brought this up to you, but it seems to me that the song means a lot to her. And you know, Owen touched a little bit on, you know, his kids being old enough to take take care of themselves. His kids are amazing. His family's great. There's a lot of authenticity here that I connect with, and it makes me, you know, happy to be here. So that was one moment that really stood out to me about this song. And then another one was recently we had a show in a small town in Montana. It was a battle of the bands, and you know, you brought your entire family, wife and kids and everything. And we played that song, and it's a super great song to play. It always gets a good reception. But I made a point of like watching his family to see how they reacted, and it was emotional. Like I literally kind of welled up. The song clearly means a lot to them. Clearly means a lot to his wife, and watching his kids, watching him playing it for her, like it's really powerful and beautiful, and it was awesome to be a part of it.
Oh my God, Felipe, you were the sweetest thing ever. If you are actually single, it's not going to last for long after this airs, dude. Like, it's going to be like
very remote.
Oh my God! No, I don't mean me. I'm married, but like.
Oh no,
I know. But listen, we have people all over the world. People will fly in from Wales for you at this point, Felipe. I don't care. That's happening.
It's his song. He wrote it. He's the source of the beauty.
Yeah, but the way you talk about it is just as good. So okay, so no, but that I think I love this too because. You know, a lot of bands, they will play stuff and they play it so much that it almost kind of becomes like wallpaper, right? Like you don't really notice it anymore. You're playing it, whatever. And I love that. And I understand that you're newer to it, Felipe, but I get the sense that this is not going to change with time for you guys, that you're really just in it with the music. And I think that one of the things that drew me to Aurora Fallen initially, well, one thing was the very funny Facebook posts. You guys, if you're not following them on Facebook, and shame on you if you're not, go do that right fucking now. I will wait. All right. But they're just so funny. You know, and so that was one thing. But I started looking into, you know, just your social media. And, you know, this show, we're huge on mental health. I, as a person, am huge on mental health, talking about it and protecting it and all of these things. And I love how transparent you guys are about everything that you've been through, everything that, you know, you care about and that you're supporting, and that you're trying to get people to feel safe and comfortable enough to talk about it. And then you put it in the music, you know, and it's interesting because the song that we picked to play tonight, that I didn't at all heavily push for, and it was a totally band-based decision that had nothing to do with me. Yeah, very organic, right? Exactly, organic smashed roasted potatoes entirely. But no, it is the only song of the three that doesn't expressly address mental health issues, right? And I mean, look, given what you talk about in Paradise, it still does, you know, because being apart from something that is your home, or someone who is your home, that's a mental health issue too. But, you know, Daily Limit and Crow's Own especially, very clear. So as much as, or as little as, or as not at all as you guys want to talk about just kind of, you know, the stories behind those songs, what brings you to, you know, being such advocates for mental health and, you know, being there for other people, go for it.
So Crow's Own was the first one that I wrote.
Right.
about really specifically about my mental health. And like I said, had gone through some serious life issues, and it became too much to me at that point. And I had a bottle of hydrocodone and a bottle of whiskey and drank down the entire bottle along with the pills.
Mm-hmm.
So when I sing about, waiting for the crow to fly, it was basically just waiting for death to take me.
Right.
It was a pretty scary night. I remember things were getting extremely dark and dim, and that was when my wife had come home and found me and got me into the bathroom and got me to start expelling what I had done. And yeah.
Okay. Look, anybody who can be at that point and share that with people, because I think it's a point that a lot more people have been at than talk about having been at, and then to put it into music, and to put it into music in such a way where it's safe to talk about or think about because it lets you in through the music. It's such a generous thing to do, and it's a brave thing to do. And I love that I hate that you were there, obviously. And I, having seen people through that kind of thing myself, I understand, there's no way to really talk about it and express it unless you've been there. But the fact that you guys have taken the opportunity to encourage other people to share their stories and to, be open about things, and that, you will be able to sit there on social media and make these videos and write these songs and just say, hey, look, if this is where you are, if this is what you're feeling, if this is what you need, talk to somebody, reach out to somebody. Like that's tremendous to me, because it's anytime anyone takes their own pain and then they use it to help other people, those are the best people, in my opinion. Not that my opinion means all that much, but there it is. So, I mean, you then wrote this years later, I assume?
I wrote Crowzone maybe a few months later.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
still, I was trying to find a way to cope with what I had done, and
that's a lot to process. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, I don't know. I sat down on my back porch one day and started messing around. Never really played with a capo too much. So I was kind of playing around with that. And then I found a progression that I liked. And then that kind of image came into my head as I was playing it, and started to write the lyrics, and basically tried to kind of tell the story of what got me there.
Yeah. So, okay. So Phil, you're in the mix at this point, obviously. So, Owen comes to you with this song, and your reaction was...
Funny thing is I can relate to it. Because the idea that you reach that dark point in your life has been a reality for I know Felipe and I haven't talked about it, nor have I talked to Cole about it, but I know it's hit Owen and I both pretty hard in similar ways. My first attempt at taking my own life was probably in the 6th grade. So, yeah, I was horribly abused as a child. Anyways, I remember that there was something going on. I think I brought home like some bad grades from the 6th grade or something like that, and lived right across the street from my school in California. And there's something that just brings you to a point of complete failure when your own mother can scream some of the most horrendous shit you've ever heard at you and make you feel completely worthless. Other people can hear all this stuff from across the street from your house. And so it's humiliating. And I remember I was up in my bedroom, and it's pretty much one of those things where you're 6th grade, you're emotional, you're crying and stuff like that. Your own mother's telling you to shut the fuck up, and all this stuff. And so I remember I had this chunk of plastic, and that's pretty much it. I shoved it down my throat, and I was choking to death.
Oh,
so,
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, it popped back up, thankfully, but. And things had changed for me that day. I was just like, okay, I got to be on my guard if this is going to continue and everything. And so the abuse, need we say more, continued probably until I got a little bit older and started bulking up a little bit, started lifting weights in high school and stuff. Barely. Would you stop it? God dang it.
He had to take you to the gun show. I'm sorry, Phil. You bring it. You have to, there's go. Levity goes a long way in serious moments. I hear it. Okay. So, all right. So you decided to protect yourself.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then I got a little bit older, and I mean, we talked about my addiction problems earlier, and I got my one and only DUI at, I think it was 23 years old. And when you're in the state of California, it's not easy to recover from that, especially a small town like I'm from. Okay. They'll keep kicking you down the hill until there's nothing left. And so, you're trying to go to your drunk driving classes, trying to work, trying to raise money, pay your fines off and stuff like that. Well, I spent the night, and, I think by the time I had left California, I'd already been to jail 3 times. And, I just kept trying to get better, and I just couldn't. It was like, good God, I need help, yes. And so eventually I kind of came to I was a single father. My oldest daughter is now 20 years old. Anyways, I kind of got to a point where it's like, I really can't afford anything because, I mean, my referral source for the job I was working dried up. I mean, I wasn't hardly making any money, living off of unemployment to try to supplement the rest of it. I'm driving a 94 Geo Metro that barely freaking runs. Okay. So, again, it's just one of those things. I mean, and not to mention, I mean, I'm drunk almost every night. Thank you, addiction. So... Remember, there it was. I scrounged together enough money for a hose, and so you know where this is going. Yeah. So I tried again, and I remember kind of like Owen said, things started getting dark. I was really lightheaded and everything like that. The freaking car shut off. It just stopped. Like, I don't know if I ran out of gas or whatever, but there was some part of that I just did not plan properly. Good. Well, I mean, I have enough money for
I love you so much, man. That is so on brand.
Well, if I only had enough money for a hose, who the hell said I could put gas in my car? If you're going to do something, do it the right way, right? Anyway, so I'm sorry.
If I would have been there.
I don't mean to make a joke about it.
No, listen, you know what? I gallows humor is a good refuge for a lot of people, and I understand that. And I...
Well, things look, like I that... Mean, they get you through the mental health portion.
That's
of this,
it. So, and I mean, if you can't take a moment around something like this, it gets very intense. Don't apologize. I'm good. I'm good. So okay. So it's the car just stopped. The car was team Phil.
Yeah. No, it was on my side. Need we say more? So it was my checkbook, evidently. But anyway, so I survived that one. I was like, okay, I got to quit this whole taking my life thing because it's not working very well. There's just got to be something better out there. And so, need we say more? I was talking to a girl at the time, go figure, had my priorities straight. Later married her. We're now divorced. Long story, but that's okay. Anyways, I was talking to her, and Montana became topic, and I'm like, if I could just get out of California, I could get my shit together, and
right.
I could do this. And so a lot of things went through my head at that time. I'm still a single father. I have a daughter in California, and she is my everything. I mean, I was still a good father despite the problems that I was facing mentally.
Being an addict and having mental health issues does not keep you from being a good parent. I'm right there. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
You guys are close still.
What's that?
You guys are close.
Exactly. No, we're extremely close.
I've met her.
Yeah.
And I'm new.
Anyways, I bring her up to, she's in college in California doing great. She's a CNA. I mean, I'm so freaking proud of her, Mackenzie, I love you, baby, if you hear this. Anyways, so
we all love you. We love you too. We love her too.
Yeah, to all you Mackenzies out there. Anyways, okay, so this is what they were talking about.
Her daughter. I apologize on behalf of Aurora Fallen.
You're
doing great.
We talked about this beforehand. You did warn her that I was like, talkative and funny. So
they did. They said, anytime Phil talks, you're gonna have to just edit it out. That's what I was told. So it's warming up now.
So, anyways, but anyways, I went through a lot trying to figure out. Okay, so what are the pros and cons here? I leave California. I go get my shit together. Do I come back to California afterwards? Well, I never did. So I maintained a good relationship with my daughter from a distance. I know there's a lot of people that are probably going to disagree with my decision to do that. However, keep in mind, I worked my ass off so that way I could maintain that relationship with her and still bring her to Montana and all that.
You have
I paid my child support.
Yeah, no. You have nothing to defend or explain. Your daughter is the only person whose opinion on that matters, and she's good with it. So fuck what anybody else thinks. That's not of concern in the slightest, not the slightest.
Exactly. And so I remember I know I'm kind of taking the floor here, but more since we're on the topic of mental health, it's when I finally was able to turn my back on drinking, I remember my youngest daughter, who is going to be 11 here in a couple of weeks. She, I remember just feeling like a complete failure. I got pulled over for a taillight and found out my license was suspended because of an old warrant I had out for my arrest in California, of all places. So, anyways, you can't run from your past. It's going to catch you. And so, I guess for what it's worth, I didn't realize that, but it was one of those times where I was like, okay, I'm tired of running. I mean, I didn't realize that I was in any kind of trouble. I mean, I had my fines paid off and stuff like that. I'd started a business. I mean, I at that point had been married. I'd created another life and all that, and had a house. I mean, life was good. I mean, it was really good. I mean, just a complete and total 180 from where I was years before. Anyways, so I remember I was reading her a book, and there was something I really wish I could remember what book it was, because it brought me to tears. And then I don't know how religious we get, but really, I mean, it was the first time I'd actually prayed, if you will. I actually hit my knees and I was like, okay, if there's a God out here, I need help. I'm so sick of this shit. I'm tired of being addicted to alcohol. I'm tired of it running my life and all that stuff. And at that point, it was like, AA didn't work for me. I didn't really go. It doesn't
work for a lot of people, and it works for some.
I mean, God bless them and everything like that. That's great. If it works for you, please continue going. Addiction's a serious problem, and whatever it is that's going to help you overcome that.
That's it.
Whether it's AA or the support of a friend or whatever, get that help. For me, it wasn't AA. It was when I got back into church and stuff like that that I found where my faith belonged, if you will. I always call myself a struggling Christian. Yeah, I got a potty mouth and all that stuff. But anyways, so, it was the first time I'd actually prayed, and then all the cravings and everything went away because I was so bad. I mean, you couldn't trust me going into your bathroom out of fear I was going to drink your mouthwash, or rubbing alcohol. I always like to say that stuff burned like hell, but it got the job done. So it's amazing I still have a lipper after everything I've done. But anyways, so, I mean, I kind of reached that point, and, for me, it all went away. I went back and I faced the music. I turned myself in on that old warrant, came back with a lot of fines. It was really bad. And oddly enough, I had to stand in front of the same judge that I was in front of several times, and she was older than most fossils, believe me. Anyways, let's see. So yeah, after that, I mean, just the cravings went away. I think in addition to running my business, I got another job, and I turned around and I used what I brought from the other job that I was working at night to pay off my fines. My family was super supportive, once I got that all taken care of and I finally had a driver's license again, I was like, oh, man. It was so cool because, I mean, I guess I like to turn around and say, I mean, mental health wise, I mean, get that help, get the support and everything like that, because when you have that help and that support, you can, mental health or not, you can overcome anything.
That's right. No, and I think that you've all said some things, a lot of things that are really important. And I think one of the hardest things is that, and I've seen this too with people that I love, where, first of all, I don't believe anybody becomes addicted to anything without trauma. Like I've said that a million times, that trauma is the gateway drug, whether it's abuse or it's, PTSD, if you're in the military, if you've, had parents that, were not keeping you safe the way they should have, if you had a bad marriage or you had an assault or some, whatever it is, like there's always assault. There's always trauma, at the root of it for every single person that I know who's ended up in any form of addiction or any kind of self-destructive behavior. And I think one of the hardest things about it is that, society is kind of set up to punish people who end up being addicted, who end up, making mistakes out of that trauma. And then exactly what you were just saying, Phil, about like, you turn things around, you get your life together. And then you said, you can't outrun your past. It always catches up with you. The thing is, like, fuck that in that way, though, because like you really should have not had to have continued to pay penance for something when everything that you had to fight to get out of was way worse than any fine or anything. Being trapped in your own loneliness, your own addiction, your own trauma, there's no prison that's worse than that. So I mean, it pisses me off how addicts are treated in this society. It does. And I'm not going to get off on a tangent with that. But I mean, enough people watching and listening have either been there firsthand or love somebody who has and watched it. But I mean, you guys all have this commitment to each other, obviously, which I mean, I love. I'm listening to you talk and I'm looking at the way that you guys are looking at each other and patting each other. And I adore you guys even more than I did before I met you. I do. Look, that's so important though. It's so important because for men especially to be able to talk about their feelings, to be able to cry, to be vulnerable, to talk about being lost and needing something and needing help and to ask for help. Society doesn't teach us that either, right? So like to have three strong men who are sitting here, who have been through hell and back and are talking about it and using it to help other people. Fuck, man. Like I might as well become your manager at this point because, but I mean, like, I really, I think that's, it's so beautiful and it's so healing, because we come back to that idea of safety. It's being physically safe, but it's also being emotionally safe, that you could sit there and say, you know what, like I'm having a hard day today. Today's not a good day. And rehearsal becomes about talking that through instead of sitting and playing the music, or you know what, I had a hard day. I really need this music right now. And you just play the fuck out of everything. You know what I mean? And like that you guys have that and that you have each other. And again, that you are giving it back to people, to write A Crow's Own is a really brave fucking thing to do. To tell people while you wrote it is at least as brave as that. And then to sit there and then write a song like Daily Limit, where right smack on Spotify, the whole time you're listening to that song, what are you staring at? 988. You need something. You're not in a good place. You are struggling. You are 98. Call somebody, talk to somebody, reach out to. I mean, even in that moment where you could have had a band picture, you could have done something self-promotional. you chose to reach out, and I love that. And I know that this entire community is going to love it too. But I mean, it is a lot to have gone through. I mean, Felipe, I don't even know, and I'm not asking unless you want to, but like, I don't even know what your story is relative to this, but just between the two of you, and I imagine Cole has his own story. And I mean, you know, Owen too, you mentioned it very, you know, briefly about, you know, being in the Marines. That's a whole other thing. I'm not going to presume to know, but I mean, I have known and loved and had family members who are Marines, who are active military, who, you know, were in the, and there's a lot baked into that too, you know? So, I mean, like, you guys are this beautiful dichotomy of strength and vulnerability, which are really the same thing to me. And then to be able to make music that just fucking kicks ass on top of it. Like, it's, you've hit all my favorite buttons in this situation. Like, it's like all the things that I love. It's like really great music, great lyrics.
Do you see why I'm still around?
What'd you say?
Do you see why I love it here? Like,
I do. Now that I'm in the band, I totally get it. No, but I mean, but I really, and again, like, you know, I think, you know, when you play Crow's Own, is that at a point now, since it's not that long, if I'm doing the math correctly, Owen, on everything that's happened here, is that therapeutic at this point? Is it hard? Does it depend on the night? Is it, where are you with it? Because that's a lot to step back into every time you play something.
Yeah, it depends on the night. Absolutely. So the photo that we used for Daily Limit on Spotify, well, everywhere. Anyway, so that photo was actually taken. When was that?
Stillwater.
At Stillwater, yeah.
Stillwater, yeah.
So we had done a show out in a town called Zorky, Montana. And we actually have the Aurora Fallen stage there.
They built it.
We built it.
We built it.
Fantastic.
Small town Montana, you build your own stages. Or GTFO.
So that the photo that we're using was actually taken that night, and I sang maybe 2/3 of the lyrics that night.
Mm-hmm.
It was just one of those nights it hit, and
fucking hit.
It did.
So the cool thing about Crow's Own is Daily Limit.
Daily Limit.
So it's just Cole and Owen playing it live. And so Phil and I get the opportunity to kind of step off stage and kind of just, you know, watch it. Yeah, just watch like anyone else. And it's probably a little different because we know what he's singing about and we know what it means to him. But man, that fucking night, it's happened twice now that, you know, gotten emotional while playing with these dudes. And that was a really powerful moment. And there were a handful of people that shared that with us. And it was memorable for sure. And that's where the picture came from. Like, it was from his incredibly, like, I mean, so sure, I'm not terribly seasoned as a musician, but I've watched a lot of people, you know, share their art and their passion. And I'd be hard pressed to think of a moment where I saw someone being more vulnerable and more open about what they were going through. Like, it was on display, and it was powerful, and it was beautiful, and it was another like really memorable moment. And that's where the picture's from.
I was talking about that on a radio interview we did not too long ago. So one thing
Excuse me, who told you it was okay to talk to other people?
I'm
we'll call you next time.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
Don't hold it against me.
Okay, fine.
or any of us, for that matter.
Maybe Cole, because he's not here to defend himself.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
There was so one way that I didn't bring up that Owen and I connect on. Let's get back to Daily Limit here and that performance at Stillwater was like Owen and I we were exhausted already. You know, I mean, we literally went out the day before. Him and I, we took that truck ride, and I mean, it's like 50 miles roughly. So we're just talking the whole time and having a great time, and bought all these materials and stuff. And, we're going out there to build this stage, and him and I, we worked by headlight for a little while, just trying to get this thing built.
Oh, wow.
And anyway, so, we got that really good connection right there, because now they can have music out there anytime they want to, because we put a stage out there.
Yeah.
Anyways, so, but what was kind of neat about that was that there's so much connection on so many levels, because one thing that I traditionally have been doing every single time that we play, or they play Daily Limit, and Felipe and I get to spectate, is, right after, it's been tradition of mine, and it's come naturally. It's not something that I've had to do. It's like I go up and I bro hug Owen right after the performance. And the reason for that, there's actually a reason for that now. And I mean, after we've talked about what the song actually means, is because I don't know if you want me to spill the beans here or not, but I will say that my father fell victim to suicide. So this is the same one that I was telling you before, had got me the bongos and connected to music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was a horrible human being. It turned out that there were a lot of skeletons in his closet. But again, let's talk mental health for a minute. Anyways, he had a lot of problems and everything like that. And so he eventually, we go Crozone, same thing, pills and alcohol, and it took him. So he's been gone now for probably about the time I've lived in Montana, so about 15 years now or so. But that's where Owen and I connect. As far as what that song means, I'm not going to spill the beans on that one, because that's Owen's story to tell.
Well, I think that's a good place to do, because we've talked about Crow's Own. We've mentioned Daily Limit, but we haven't gone too much into the lyricism of that. So again, as much or as little, and guys, that's another. I mean, it's 3 for 3 with this band, right? I mean, like, you've heard Paradise, you've already heard me like orgasmically rant about it or whatever, fine, and then like Crow's Own. I mean, the vocals are so gritty on that one. There's all that buzzy sort of distortion, and the bridge is so intense in that song, and the build to the outro, like it just punches you right in the stomach.
Yeah, I remember that show that we were talking about in Stillwater, though. I mean, as far as the performance goes, sitting back spectating with Felipe, Owen's performance. It was hard to tell what was happening right there, and I mean that sounds kind of strange, but like I couldn't tell if he was so emotional that his voice was just cracking to pieces right there, or if I mean, I guess that's probably the best way I can describe it, was he was pouring like literally his soul into that performance. It was crazy, and I'd never heard him sing like that before. We've been doing, 2021, we've been doing Aurora Fallen for 2.5 years now. And I had never heard him sing like that. And I've heard this dude sing tons of times, millions of times, and this one performance was just, it was so insanely good. I didn't have a choice. That's where the bro hug came in, because I didn't have a choice. I mean, his performance was just beyond, it was touching.
Well, and I mean, that's when you're impressing the people that you play with all the time, know you've done something quite right, because and I think that's as much down to Owen's talent and who you guys are as people.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if there's one thing that is just glaringly obvious from every single thing that the three of you have said so far tonight, and we're not done, so you don't get to go anywhere, but like, is just that there's no artifice in this band at all. Like, Felipe, you mentioned authenticity, and I mean, that's it. That's the whole thing. For me, anything that is authentic and anything that fosters connection, like, is doing everything it needs to do, whatever format that takes, whether it's loaded and smashed or roasted or whatever, like, as long as it's, whatever gets people to connect. And I think that what it sounds like, and I don't want to confuse everybody, because we keep almost talking about Daily Limit and Crow's Own interchangeably, because lyrically they are, and thematically very similar in terms of what they're talking about. But, this particular performance, it sounds like that was you, Owen, just connecting to your own music and your own story and your own experience. And like, I know that, mostly, you know, Vox and Stix, we do covers, right? But you know, when I've sung my originals in the past, you know, and I really start paying attention in the moment to what it is that I'm singing about, like what I wrote, and I go back in that place in my head, it is different, right? Like there's just something in that where it's almost like you're hearing your own music as if you didn't write it, but you're living in the moment that you wrote it in at the same time. And it's that weird out of body thing. And so, you know, I can only imagine in that moment where sometimes those feelings must get so big, but they're big in the rear view mirror instead of right in front of you, like when it happened. And it's that's a mind fuck, man. Like, right, like that there's just so much in that you have to parse and process, and that it's still raw enough that you feel it and you're in it and you remember it, and then you're also moving past it and processing it and, you know, getting farther away from it. But like, it sounds to me like when I hear Phil and Felipe describe that performance, that's what it makes me feel. And I'm curious because the guys have talked about it, but I haven't heard from you what that moment was really like more specifically. So, I mean, you know, you're on stage, and why don't you actually get into a little bit before we even do that Daily Limit and specifically what that one's about relative to, because we talked about Paradise and Crozone in more detail. If you can find the question in that, God bless you, Owen. I don't even know what the fuck I just asked you, but I know it was important. So.
I got you covered.
Thank you. It's because I'm in the band now. We just have this thing, you know. Yeah, exactly. We're vibing. So go ahead.
So Cole had kind of disappeared in 2022.
Like a David Copperfield thing, or just
like he David Copperfield
levitated, like gone.
So like I, you know, was messaging him, you know, like, hey man, like just checking to see if you're going to be able to make practice, you know, just, you know,
where are you?
Didn't get anything back from him for a couple of months, and then finally one day I was just like, hey man, like, if there's something like going on in your life, I totally respect that. And if you need somebody to talk to, like, I'm here. And he replied back. And he was like, I'm sorry, man. I've been going through a lot of shit. And I said, I get that. I said, you know better than anybody that I get that. Right. So I was like, I mean, why don't you come over on Sunday and, you know, I mean, even if we don't play, if you just want to talk, whatever, like we'll just hang out.
Yeah.
And he came in and told me what was going on. And he had actually gone through about, like a 3-month blackout from alcohol and battling addiction himself. And he said, you know, but I'm doing a lot better now than I was, you know, but, you know, I appreciate everything. And he said, and I wrote this coming out of it. And he started playing this guitar part. And I was like, we need to write this fucking song right now.
Yeah.
Like right now.
Yeah.
So I set up my Zoom recorder and said, you know, just start playing. I'm going to read a list of titles to you. And as soon as one like hits with you, tell me.
Okay.
And I started reading a list of titles to him. And the last one that I read was Daily Limit. And he goes, that's the one. And I said, great. I didn't have any lyrics. All I had was a list of titles.
And these were just titles that you had come up with at some point.
Just random.
To write songs for. Okay. Wow, that's cool. Okay.
And so I said, okay, well, do me a favor. Just start, you know, keep playing and let's see what happens. And I was really just trying to record and capture the guitar part. And then I started to hum along to get a melody to go. And then all of a sudden, pretty much every lyric that you hear in Daily Limit, I sang straight through.
Okay.
With no, like, there was no pre-planning, no pre-writing. It was, and I, after we got done recording it, I like it. It's funny because like I'll occasionally listen back to the original recording just because.
Yeah.
And
Don't ever do that.
And he goes like right at the very end, I was like, kind of humming what I wanted him to do on the guitar to close the song out.
Mm-hmm.
And when he played the last note, I go, yeah, dude. And it was just one of those moments where, I don't know, it was like, honestly, it felt like something else took over my body.
Yeah.
Because I've never had that happen before in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, out of the dozens of songs that I've written, I've always worked for those lyrics. There's always been a process that I've had to follow to get to those lyrics.
Oh, I fucking love this band so much, guys.
No, because you know what though, Owen, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm gonna, because you were talking and it made me think of things. And I think I have always believed that people who are sensitive, and I know that's used as a negative in a lot of instances, but I never ever mean it that way. Being a sensitive person myself, raising sensitive children, being married to a sensitive person, like,
God bless you.
Yeah, it's a whole party up in here sometimes, but like, we cannot watch Neverending Story, but no, but like, I mean, but it, I think that what happens is that there's this, some people are just, the membrane between the world and our experience of it and like our ability to protect ourselves is very thin. And I think that it leaves us open to a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, a lot of heartache. But I think it also allows a lot of creative ways to process that and expressive ways to communicate that maybe people who are more protected but more closed off can't access. And I'm talking out of my ass a little bit, but as you're
no,
okay, but like as I'm listening to you, thank you, my Felipe. But as I'm listening to you, Owen, I'm resonating with you so hard because song lyrics, I've never really had that experience. I fight for every single word too, but when I write poetry, sometimes like and I'll just go ahead and share it, and I'm not meaning to be self-referential. It's just I'm feeling you guys so hard in this moment, which I'm going to trust you understand. I'm not trying to make it about me, but like I had a very, very late miscarriage before I had my children, and I was kind of processing all of that, and I sat down and I wrote a poem one day, and it literally just poured out of me. I had no idea, like it was just it was like what you just said. It kind of wrote itself. And every time I come back to that, every October when it's, pregnancy loss month or whatever, I like to post it and share it so that people know that they can come to me if they go through that or anything like that. Cause it's the same with, with anything. Talking about something is the way to keep you healthy around it or to save you from it, and not enough people make space for that, and not enough people take space for that. So it's like whatever, that's part of why I love you guys so much, because you're so clearly committed to doing that. But every time I go back and I look at that poem and I'm like, how did that happen? Like, where did that come from? And I know that feeling. And I think that it comes from the fact that you and Cole and Phil and Felipe too. I mean, you're very only technically new. That's merely a chronological issue, Felipe. Yeah. And in terms of your place in this band, I think that there's a reason that they never had a bass player that worked out before. They were waiting for you, but
still my life, mate.
Yeah, but I mean, it's you guys you're open. You're open, all of you. You're open emotionally, you're open, vocally about it, you're open musically. And I think that that's part of what, when I listen especially to Paradise, I'm experiencing. It's that, and it's in all of the songs, it's in all three of them. There's just so much raw emotion and honesty and pain and hope which is an interesting combination, you know, and the fact that the music is here and that you're here to make it is hopeful, you know, even if the subject of the song that you're singing at the time is incredibly dark, and it was at the point where it almost stopped everything. And anytime I get to, you know, sometimes you listen to music or you watch movies that you know are going to make you cry and upset you, or am I the only fucked up person that does that? Like, do you know what like, that's what I mean, where it's that cathartic thing, you know. And you guys, what you're doing with your music is such a gift. I mean, and it would be even if nobody knew any of this. People who listen and don't watch this interview and they go out or they're not paying attention to the lyrics, it's still a gift because it's just good music. And I always think good music is a gift. But there's so much passion in it. And it is something that is past the sonic nature of it. It's past the lyrical nature of it. It is just baked into the DNA of the music. And I geek out on that so fucking hard because it doesn't happen all that often. And I'm blessed enough to be able to do this show where I have said things like this to other bands before. And I only ever say it when it's true. I only ever say anything when it's true. I don't lie. What's the point of lying, right? But you guys just, you need to make more music because I need it. Like, I need more. And I mean, now again that I'm in the band and I'm managing it, you know, we'll be
You're financially motivated.
But I mean, like, so I know you've got Monster, right? Ode to Johnny coming up. So you've got some stuff in the works, but like, I think that when everybody listens to Aurora Fallen, which is your homework for the week, everyone watching and listening, you know, and go and like them, follow them, subscribe, all the things, they're everywhere. Okay. Love up the music, love up the band. But, you know, if you guys hear this stuff and you experience the way I do, share it with them, you know, tell these guys, because it is a lot to put this and all of yourself into what you're making and to put that out in the world and to use it to help other people is beautiful, but it's still hard. That's hard. And being on stage and singing that and, you know, thinking of where you were in those moments and thinking of where your friend was in those moments, or those moments that make you think of your dad or a friend that you knew or someone that, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard. And music like this, special, and it's such a wasted word, you know, it's been diluted and it's been mocked and it's been, but music that is genuinely special like this, where it is so real and authentic and powerful and passionate and evocative and emotive like that, like, it's hard to do that. It's hard to make that. It's hard to perform it. It's hard to put it out there. And I don't mean to speak for you, and I guess I am, but I mean, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I mean, I feel like you know, the more you hear, and it was a big part of why I wanted to have you guys on the show, was to be able to say this to you, like, to thank you for what you're making, because it's, and I don't even mean like, you know, just because you know, it's about mental health and that's so important. And I don't even mean just being so honest and sharing your stories the way you are. And that's important too. But I mean, like, just that, thank you for how what you do makes me feel. Like, that's big. And I never, as much music as I listen to, you know, I never ever take that for granted. You know, something that music that makes me feel safe enough to listen to it and grieve with you, or process with you, or be in pain with you, or be uncomfortable with you. Like, that's a magic trick to me, you know, and I wanted to be able to say that to you guys, because what you're doing is, all of it is tremendous, you know. So guys, really, when you listen to this band, and I know some of you watching right now, you know, I'm besties with so many of you watching right now, and I know how many of you are going to resonate with this. Tell them that. Give that back to them, because we need to support each other, right? So I'm babbling and I'm sorry, but like, I really
fantastic.
You haven't lost my interest.
Give me time, because, you know, then we're going to start talking about macrame or whatever. But no, but I really, I just, you I do want to know what is next. So talk to me about, because Monster is Ode to Johnny.
Yeah.
So
Way lighter.
okay,
Lighter.
really? Is it really?
Right?
Or are you fucking with me?
Like, no.
Okay.
That's not true. I'd love to know it because that
Okay.
that would change how I approach it.
So Monster is obviously everybody knows Heard versus Depp, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. It is a Johnny Depp ode? That's the Johnny?
That's Johnny.
My God. Okay, wait. Wait a minute. Okay, so we're writing a song about the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard debacle. You've got to tell me that I need the tea on this one, because what the actual fuck, Owen?
Okay.
I mean, I'm up for. I bought in completely with you guys at this point, so I'm in for it. But I gotta know what the hell happened there. Where did that come from?
So,
He's like, wait, let me think of a story that will remotely make sense here.
Okay, so let's go back. All right, so during the Heard Depp trial, okay. There's a singer-songwriter local to us that by the name of Jeff George, who is an amazing musician.
Okay.
Chicago blues. I mean, like he is a legit soulful guy.
Okay.
And I went over to his place one day because we had been trying to line up for months to just kind of get together and just jam.
Okay.
And I wanted to just learn from him. Like, So we're sitting there and we're playing, and he asked me to, play a couple of songs, and I played, and we just kind of jammed together for a little bit. And then he was like, I mean, is there something that you're working on that you want to try to workshop with me? And I was like, yeah, man, actually, that would be super cool.
Okay.
So I just left my house where the Heard Depp trial was on, showed up to his house where the Heard Depp trial was on, and we're down in the basement jamming, and I started playing a chord progression. I was like, this is kind of the idea that I have. And I was like, but I'm having a hard time figuring out where to go from here. And I was like, do you think that this kind of a progression would sound cool if I transition to that? And he was like, fuck all that, dude. Just stick to those two chords.
Okay.
Just change it up. Do some variations. And it'll be cool. I was like, okay.
Yeah, sure.
So that's what I did. And, it turned into this little train beat, and, during the chorus, opening it up, just making it just sound fuller versus what I was doing before with the palm muting, getting some ghost notes to happen and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, now what the fuck do I write to this song? And all of a sudden it just hit me. I was like, you know what? I mean, with everything going on, why not? So I wrote this song. It took me, a little while. It wasn't like the Daily Limit where it just kind of flowed out, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I worked for these lyrics.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, if you were resonating as hard with this one as I would be a little bit worried about you, Owen. But okay.
How invested are you?
Yeah, are you okay? You're like, no, I'm not okay.
But the thing is okay. So, there's this stigma that spousal abuse only happens to women.
Right. And it's a gross misconception. Yes.
Right. So I wanted to try to bring that a little bit more into light.
Okay.
So the opening line, chasing the bottom of every bottle. Right? That was a lot of what she talked about in the trial, was that how he was always getting drunk, and he was always taking drugs, and he was always doing this, and he was always doing that, and he was out of his mind. Okay. So it's really, taking basically what she was saying and turning it into his perspective from what he was saying, but not as blatantly.
Okay. Yeah. To full disclosure, I think the only person on the planet that didn't watch any of that. But I gathered that it was very tricky to figure out culpability and all of that. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that, okay, so is it like, do you say anywhere besides in the title what it's about, or is it more taking the themes and it's more general and it's kind of focused on that idea of, it's not always the, I mean, not that there are only two kinds of, relationships, but like in a man and a woman being married, it's not only the woman that can be the victim, it can be the man. Like, what is it? And is it light? Because how would you make that light? Because Felipe, I feel like Felipe kind of, yeah. I'm like,
so the chorus is.
I thought it was about Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh shit.
Well,
So,
in a way, I guess
there are Pirates of the Caribbean references.
Okay.
I swear I've listened to this song, dude. I swear.
Oh shit.
So it's like.
This, I have to tell you, I'm sure it's great. This sounds like the weirdest fucking song, but like, okay, so how are there pirates?
So how do I incorporate Pirates of the Caribbean into
and spousal abuse? Yeah, to make that make sense for me, Owen, because right now
over here.
Let's see here. To get this off a dead man's chest, this dead man will tell no tale.
Okay.
Finding your words in one last breath, proving your lies as Macbeth.
Ooh, okay.
I hear it in my head. It's a jam.
Okay, so it is the references aren't like, you don't literally mention Captain Jack Sparrow.
No.
It's just it's allusions to the
Pirates Ride.
Yeah, but it's allusions to it. It's broader. It's more lyrical. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Okay,
I mean, like he was supposed to be in more Pirates of the Caribbean,
right? And then
he wasn't because of
the trial, right? Okay, look at you. So see, it's. Dude, you're like, it's like this, yeah.
You find the inspiration where you can.
Well, but you know what though? I mean, like that's actually though, as weird as it sounds in the telling, once you've got all the information, it actually does make sense. So but that's interesting because it also tells me that you seem to see things, Owen, in maybe a different way than other people do looking at the same thing, if that sounded like an insult, it's not. But
I think it's a compliment because it happens all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, and again, as a neurodivergent person, that's like literally my entire life, so I can completely understand that. But like, I love that because I mean, for a split second when you're telling the story about being in the basement or whatever, and I'm like, is this literally going to be like an Amber got onto the stand and she would, and I'm like, oh God, no, he's not going to write that. So, but like, now that I'm hearing what it is, I'm seeing how you took all of that, put it in the little Owen mental blender, and then came out with something that's probably actually quite
profound.
Yeah, that's a very, I was going to say powerful, but I like profound better. So, okay, so it's lighter in the sense that at least it's not as directly personal, right?
Yes. It's
okay, but Felipe, do you want to change your final answer on that, or phone a friend now, or?
Oh, I mean, like relatively speaking to what we've been talking about, like this is light.
Yeah.
But
yes.
I mean, like. I love. Okay, so I played in cover bands. I'm sure you mentioned that. Being a part of this and being able to be part of a creative process where not only is it creative in like what chords are we playing and minor key, major key. For all my non-musical friends like I am, all that is awesome and super fun. But like knowing that. Doing that to meaningful content is, right. It's super fun, and even the stuff that's like not terribly profound, relatively speaking, it's like
still saying something. Yeah,
man, we're talking about less than ideal spousal marital relations, which is something that a lot of people that's incredibly potent to their life,
and it's also on brand for you guys because it's yet another way of shedding light on things that need light on them that don't often get that light, right? So I mean, it fits for you, and I think that I gotta ask because, you know, you guys describe yourselves as a blues rock band, right? And it's interesting. I don't know that I necessarily would have said that, although I don't know what I would have said instead.
Right.
You should talk to Cole.
Yeah, that's about it.
There's a debate going on about it.
Yeah, I mean, I really, you know, because I hear some alt rock, I hear some grunge, I hear some blues, like especially Daily Limit. I hear more of a bluesy influence there, you know. But I mean, you know, again, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me what genre we're going to call any of this because it is as it is, right? But like, when you guys listen to music that isn't yours, what do you listen to? What are your influences? Like, what did you grow up listening to? What do you listen to now? Like, what do you guys, because I do believe that all, you know, we pull from that even subconsciously, just as musicians, especially, you'll hear something and you'll go, ooh, you know, and then like 20 years later, you might write something that evokes that or whatever. So like, what do you guys listen to that isn't Aurora Fallen? I stumped them on. This was the hard question. I love it. This is the one that got everybody.
Talk about mental health all day, but Jesus Christ, my influences.
You're like, I am not talking about what's on my Spotify. All right, Felipe. I'm gonna go with you. It's gonna be Ghostbusters and Britney Spears. That's it, right? Those are the two.
How'd you guess? Wow.
Ghostbusters 100%.
Britney Spears about 93% of the time.
I like. I basically listen to everything except jazz. Like,
Jazz?
I'm sorry. Like, I recognize
don't apologize for jazz. Jazz doesn't apologize for. Okay.
I mean, I started listening to music in the early 90s, so, you know, take that for, you know, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains.
Okay, so all the Seattle grunge stuff. Okay.
Yeah, of course. I actually suggested to Owen that we should play Nutshell, which that's when I decided I liked you.
That's awesome.
Okay, I love how that was not immediately. That was not immediately. I said that quite a ways in, as I recall. So good to know I was still on tenterhooks all that time.
Specifically, once we started recording.
Yeah, no, I got
You're very warm and welcome.
Thank you, sweetheart. No, but I mean, but that would be. I would love to hear you guys do that. I really would. That song is one of the ones that I was describing where like that just, you know, and I know that you know, Lane didn't write the music, but he wrote the lyrics, and I just.
That's true?
Yeah. It was. Yeah, my understanding is that it was Mike and Jerry and I'm blanking.
Mike, Lane,
Jerry and shit.
Okay.
The other guy. But anyway, that my understanding was that they wrote the music and he wrote the lyrics, and that even the band thinks of that as like his song, you know. And there's just something about Nutshell it's just so heartbreaking. Like it's just that song. I feel like all of his pain got baked into that one song, and it's just that's to me that's a perfect song. But like I would love to hear you guys interpret that. I would, and I know you're not a cover band, but if you ever just do it,
we do covers.
Do you really? Okay.
Not quite anymore. Yeah, it used to be.
Okay, so like, what? Maybe this will get us more into the influences thing too. Like, what kind of covers do you play? Which ones do you? Because that's not anywhere that I saw it. So
we haven't played it.
If you watch like some of the videos on our Facebook and Instagram and stuff, you'll hear like where we take part of Feeling Good to
Michael Bublé.
Oh, I was like Nina Simone. Okay, yeah, okay,
Ooh.
All right.
To introduce.
Oh no, that's not Michael Bublé. That's Nina Simone. That's a you know you hear that birds flying, you know that's Nina. You got All right, okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's learned something.
Oh my God, Felipe! If you have not heard,
I'm new. You can't.
You're not 6
I'm
months
new to
old.
America.
You've just okay, dude.
English is my
Like,
favorite language.
40 years, it's fine.
No, you can't.
Okay, all right. Brazil called. They want you back. You're not new to America. Shut up. They know. You have to listen to Nina Simone on
Okay.
that. That
Well,
would
like,
blow
I
you.
know who she is. I just
No,
I don't even know
but
that
you
that
need
was
to
her.
listen to her sing that one. It's amazing, amazing. Yeah. Okay, so you take bits of that and you.
So we take the intro of it
Okay.
to introduce No Diggity.
Like the way you work it, no diggity.
It's
Okay.
a banger.
Yeah.
I am trying to put that together in my. So when
Oh,
you say
yeah,
when you say the intro, you mean through the and I'm feeling good,
Yeah, so,
and then
yeah,
you
so
go into. Oh, I hear.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
But no,
I'm
wait, no,
obviously
because
biased,
wait,
but it's so
yes,
good.
when you land on that and I'm feeling good, you could go into the no diggity, no doubt. Yeah, I hear
You
that.
start
Oh
with
my
the
god.
bass line.
Yeah, so
That's
it's just,
my moment
it
to
just
shine.
yeah.
That boom, boom, boom.
It just
Yeah,
hits.
yeah. Oh my god, that's so.
It's fun.
I love both of those songs. Oh my god. Okay,
Super fun.
okay. I'm looking for that one later. I don't know how I missed it.
Apparently, Blackstreet is one of my core influences. But if you guys want to chime in, please feel free. Save me from this.
Are we talking about? Okay, so we probably got to narrow this down because I mean, good grief, as many influences as I could run through.
Motley Crue.
No, not Motley Crue. Never really cared for cocaine. Sure smelled good, but anyways, sorry. You can edit that out.
What's the biggest band?
I need to mark that one down.
Biggest band
You
I
played with on? You shared a stage with?
With? Trying to decide whether that was probably a band called Cold Joint. A lot of covers, a lot of originals and stuff like that. A lot of metal.
Okay.
Stuff I'm not really much into anymore. So
Okay.
Boring.
So where do you
so influences that are bringing
I
about.
love that this is the hard question. I love that.
It is kind of a hard question.
This is hard.
It is kind of a hard
It's
question.
very
because,
personal
I mean,
feeling.
I can go through.
Weird, right?
I can go through and I can talk
Interesting.
about like favorite bands versus why it would be drummers, of course. But
So I mean, like,
I would
are
say-
you a Rush guy because of Neil? Are you
not
like?
really Rush.
He's not a Rush guy.
Not
Not
a Rush
really
guy.
Rush. No, I don't have 40 grand to dump into a drum kit. No, anyways, no. I mean, I love Neil to death. I mean, the guy had. I mean, his hands were just insane. But no, I mean, primarily probably would have actually been Zeppelin, and the reason I would say that is because if you think about Bonham's kit and everything like that, the fact is that it was probably no more complicated than mine.
Right.
He was heavy hitting a lot like I was, and then there were just ways that he was able to play that I just can't explain.
And we can't recognize.
Post-its, if you will. Yeah, I can't recognize.
This isn't me, and I swear to God, I've said this to his face. Like, dude, you're comparing yourself to Bonham. Like,
There's no way.
like settle
comparing.
down. Bro.
I'm not comparing. There is no comparison.
But like, you're like,
Influences is cool.
okay.
Influence is cool.
I'm sorry.
influence?
I'm sorry. I love you, man.
Show
I'm
me
sorry.
Felipe needs a snack. He just got salty for a second there. Where did my teddy bear go? All of a sudden, you're just wait. Okay, so the influence
Calm the
there.
fuck down over there.
Sorry, bro. Sorry.
So hard. Okay, so hard hitting, relatively simple kit compared to some of the shit that you see out there where people.
Yeah.
He is
Yeah,
hard hitting.
Fucking quadruple basses and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Okay.
but that's the thing is like, I mean, when you listen to Moby Dick by Zeppelin, I mean, he just throws it together. There's no consistency to it whatsoever, but it sounds amazing. I mean, when I first saw the song Remains the Same from Zeppelin, bear in mind, I'm a youngin' when it comes to this. Bonham died before I was born. So, anyways, but still, I have so much appreciation for that. That was I can tell you, it was a concert they took in 1969 Madison Square Garden, and that's where I heard Moby Dick for the first time. I was like, wow, that is freaking badass. I mean, literally almost 30 minutes of just nothing but drums, and you didn't lose interest in it whatsoever. At least I didn't. But I mean, so for that bluesy rock sound that Zeppelin invented, if you will, that would definitely be an influencer. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to surpass Bonham anytime soon. But
I think Felipe thinks you will.
he has faith in me. He's not sharing it right now, but he does. He's got faith.
It's deep down.
It's way down. It's way down there. Will you get your shoe off my green?
It's like there's the earth core. There's a couple of 100 feet, and then there's the faith. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll have to.
But
we'll have to
okay. So just run through a couple other ones. I mean, Lloyd Taylor Hawkins, Foo Fighters. Okay.
Sure.
I loved his playing style. Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, they had the same drummer. They shared Matt Cameron, who is now drumming for Pearl Jam right now. Let's see if I can come up with a fifth one.
You're good, bro. That's enough. Shut up.
Fine, let me just throw it out there. I'm also a huge Bon Jovi fan. There we go.
Okay. Are you actually really?
He is.
Okay, there's no shame in that. I know.
I'm a huge Bon Jovi fan.
There's a reason they were so popular. Yeah.
Yeah, Tico Torres still. I mean, he can still throw those sticks around. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, and
do you guys tour?
Right.
Ooh.
Do you guys tour? They're an internet.
We're an internet band. We're everywhere and nowhere all at once.
3/5 of them live somewhere else.
Yeah, no, there are 6 of us, and we haven't met 2 of them in person yet, ever.
Get the fuck out, really?
I'm sorry, 4/6 of them.
Yeah. Well, how do you talk about trauma then?
Oh man, that's we like to create it every week during rehearsals. That's it. Yeah, that's very meta. Actually, we have a Discord about Discord, but yeah, we'll talk about my band later. Let's talk more about.
I'm sorry.
He doesn't want to talk about. He doesn't want to talk about influences. That's what it is. Anything he could do to change the topic from influences, apparently. But okay, so all right,
this is very uncomfortable.
I'm good with influences. I can talk about that all day.
All right, let's get to Owen. Let's see what Owen's info, because I know we mentioned a little bit of BB King and all of that, but so what else is baked in there?
So so I mean anything Chicago blues. So my mom actually managed a bar called the Wise Fools Pub in Chicago, and as a very small child, I was allowed to hang out there.
Oh, cool.
And got to listen to all sorts of old blues players warm up and do sound checks and stuff like that. Oh, I wasn't able to be there for the nighttime, but it got it ingrained into me, if you will.
Look at you with the $3. Yes. Okay. All right.
It was. Okay. Yeah. Man, okay. I paused on that one.
As a trumpet player too. I mean, were you into jazz at any point too?
I was. Yeah. Okay. So I was actually. Yeah. I played in the jazz band. I was your stereotypical band geek, if you will. I was the band captain. I was in marching band, like jazz
knee
band.
Deep in honeys. Oh, yeah, okay, I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then I listened to everything except, like, in my high school career, I quit listening to country.
I knew you were going to say country somehow. I just did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't do it anymore. I don't know.
I was in Florida.
I was in Florida, yeah. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
So yeah, and then Dave Matthews happened.
Boy, did he! Yeah. Okay, that was early '90s, as I recall, 92, 93, 94, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, when you say then Dave Matthews happened, there are a lot of ways to finish that thought. So what do you mean by that?
I fucking love Dave Matthews. You know what? Like, I mean, there's a lot of haters out there, but they're just fuck those guys.
Totally understand that. No,
Dave Matthews Band is fucking genius. I mean, and then he started teaming up with Tim Reynolds, and like you started getting the acoustic with the electric guitar, like that vibe started to happen, and I was like, shit, that is awesome.
I didn't know people didn't like Dave Matthews until fairly recently. Like that was the first. Like I started seeing memes about it. Like
it's weird, right?
And I mean, like I understand it's not for everybody. It's also like that band. Oh God, they did that song Hook.
Coldplay.
No. Okay. What was the band that did that song Hook? John Blues Traveler. Not everybody liked them either, but I don't feel like you could argue with the musicianship there, you know. And I feel that same way about Dave Matthews. Like, I mean, maybe it's because they are kind of a jam band, but they were also like very radio friendly, and it confused people. But yeah, I'm with you. I understand, and especially you coming from where you did, I could see why you would appreciate it, because it almost kind of synthesizes all the things that you
get the blues, the jazz, into one thing. Okay. So I listened to a lot of Dave Matthews, and then I watched a live there was like Dave Matthews at the Red Rocks, and like
yeah
that was
you should go,
and that like changed my life as far as music goes. But it was funny
that
too.
Was something.
Like when I watched that, I actually I had an acoustic guitar and I played it a little bit, but I was playing electric guitar more. And then I was listening to a band called, well, I mean, I don't know, not too many. It's weird. This is a 50-50 shot. Have you ever heard of Shaman's Harvest?
I feel like somebody on this show might have mentioned them to me, but do I know them personally or their music? No.
Okay. So they express themselves as a blues metal band.
Okay. Yeah, this is sounding I feel like somebody, it might have been off air, but I feel like somebody mentioned, because that would make sense, blues metal. Okay. That's
they did a cover of Dirty Diana, Michael Jackson. Blew my fucking mind. All
right, I'm gonna
I started listening to everything of theirs and hearing how he's able to incorporate blues into their version of metal.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to how he sings, he uses a lot of blues phrases, which is what I've been doing with our music more, to try to bring a little bit more of the blues into the style. So that's why blues rock, because while it's not like your southern rock that I think a lot of people interpret as blues rock.
Yeah, two different things.
Very
different things. Yeah.
So that's where blues rock genre came from.
I got you. So it is more of an inflection, phrasing kind of. Yeah, I can hear that.
The chord progressions, a few of the songs we use like a 12-bar turnaround, stuff like that,
Right. Yeah. No, it's interesting though. It wasn't because I didn't hear elements of blues and rock and blues rock. It's just and I find this more often than not that bands that I talk to who aren't metal generally are kind of hard to define the genre. Like, I mean, I listen to A Genova and I might say like, okay, I'm going to go with more of like an alt rock feel there or whatever, but like a Dion Powder band or like you can't, and you guys I think fall into that category for me. And again, I don't care. Like I have the luxury of not caring about genre because it doesn't matter. And that way you're not limited either. But, I think, and it's amusing to me now because in a few minutes, Felipe, you're really going to hate me because I'm going to be asking a question at the end of the show that you're not going to want to answer at all based on your reaction to the influences question. But we'll get there in a second. But
I am so anxious.
Before, don't be anxious. It's moments away, so just use it as a little speed bump in the future. But so just before we kind of get to that moment there and wrap things up, you guys are playing out a fair bit too, from what I can tell. So why don't you talk a little bit about the whole live gig situation?
Man, it's been crazy this year, actually. Like. So the first show that we played as a full band was March when we really released Crow's Own.
Right.
I don't know. I kind of got to a point where, because, we didn't have a bass player or, I was like, you know what? Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
So The guy Kevin that Felipe mentioned earlier, he and I used to jam down in Florida. Like, so we had this whole thing called Back Porch Serenades. Like, he and I would get together with my family, a bunch of our friends, and like we would literally sit out on a back porch down in Tallahassee, Florida, and go back and forth playing songs.
Oh, that's cool.
And he's a phenomenal musician and primarily bass player, but he also plays guitar and sings and does all sorts of, like, I mean, he's just, yeah, he's a very well-rounded musician.
I like to call those people musical Swiss Army knives, because generally, like, whatever you need,
so.
yeah. Okay, very cool.
So, so I had recorded the drums, the guitar, and the lead guitar parts, and sent it over to him of Crozone, and it sent it to him, and was like, "Hey, man, what do you think?" And he was like, "Sounds pretty cool. Do you want a bass line?" I was like, "Fucking absolutely, I would."
You're like, kind of why I sent it.
So he recorded bass line, sent it to me. Same thing with Paradise. I sent it to him, and that. So he actually got to experience Paradise after I wrote it. He was actually part of the inspiration to writing that song, and also me taking my step back into music.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a deep-rooted connection to the song for him there. So, you know, he was ecstatic to throw a song or throw a bass line on for that. And then where was I going?
You were talking about live gigging and how we started in March.
So I had started mixing Crozone, and I was like, you know what? I mean, if we're gonna release it, like, I want to play a show, you know.
Yeah.
So I had lined out with one of our local venues to get booked there, and we just started playing as a trio, just me, Cole, and Phil.
Yeah.
And the second show was over at a place called Thirsty Street that we met Felipe at, and he was like, "Hey, man, I play guitar, but I could play bass."
I could have sworn he said, "I'll slap at the bass."
Exactly what I look like when I jam out, man. When I jam with my bass.
And I said,
that's how you know he's a professional, if he puts it that way. Yeah.
So he came in, and then after that, it was we started scheduling shows. We got invited to go to a Battle of the Bands that's like 4 hours away from us, which was super cool, because like we hadn't even played a live show yet when they got a hold of us to go play.
That's insane.
So that was super cool.
That was a busy weekend, because we played the Tattoo Expo the day before.
Yeah. So, and then, because we got asked to play for a Tattoo Expo for Warrior Wishes of Montana. And so we went and did that the night before, loaded up, and then went to Sydney, Montana the next morning.
Oof.
And did that. And it was like, but I mean, honestly, like, that was probably one of the coolest shows that we played, because it was people that aren't in our community.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, like, every single band that was there immediately, like, made you a part of their community, because a lot of the bands that were there, actually all of the bands that were there, were from that general area.
Oh, okay.
Except for Pan Blanco, which is from the same places we are in Billings.
Yeah.
And they're like a Latin music. Super cool. Yeah.
Well, they're nonstop too.
Yeah. Amazing band.
One thing that's kind of neat is that the playing style comes from different places, because their drummer is a good friend of mine. He actually plays in a metal band here in town, and then he can convert over to this Latin sound.
No shit.
So
okay.
Cool. So cool.
That's very neat.
So yeah, but no, I mean, it was, but the three other bands that were up there were from that general area, you know, very talented musicians. Reaction Jacket. If you've never heard of them, like, definitely go check them out.
I like the name. Okay.
Killing Smalls. Unfortunately, I think that was their last show.
Oh, okay.
And then the Mountain Country Band. Or High Mountain Country Band.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
No offense.
Look them both up.
Sorry, guys.
We love the music, though.
I mean,
just look them both up.
Like, just like completely embraced us into their area, and super excited to plot out next year, because we'll definitely be traveling up in their direction into like Minot, North Dakota, and
look at you, a world tour.
Yeah.
I'm Midwest tour right now, but
yeah. Southern Canada tour.
Wow. That's where you'll get the quality poutine. That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, but so it sounds like you guys, I mean, and that's, it's not easy to get gigs, as any gigging musician knows. So if you're finding that they're finding you, that's an endorsement right there. So, I mean, anybody who's remotely local, or has a private plane or whatever, you can always feel free to, their schedule's up on their social media. You can go check them out. But yeah, no, I it sounds like you guys find community wherever you go, or you create it if it's not there, which is again very on brand for all of you. But I think Felipe thought maybe he would just wait me out, but no, I vamped Felipe, because now, as sad as I am to end this interview, I have to do so. But before I let you go, I don't think you know this, but we like to end every episode with a little segment that I call In the Vox Seat. And I have asked the same 5 questions of every single musician who has been on this show. And I will prepare you for the fact that you are going to hate at least one of these questions, especially you, Felipe. And I know which one. And that the last question, not to put any pressure on you, has become an issue so controversial that fans are won and lost in the blink of an eye. There's a running tally. It's a whole thing. So we'll get there.
Here for it.
Let us begin with one of the simpler ones, which is also, by the way, kind of hard for a lot of people. But here we go. For each of you, okay, you each get this. If you had to describe Aurora Fallen's music in 5 words or less, what would you say? Felipe,
starting with me?
No, well, I don't know. I mean, you were the rabbit's foot before, so maybe it's the lucky charm. But I feel like you could absolutely pass it on to someone else. You have been foisted into first position several times.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'm the most objective.
There we go. Okay.
Physical scientist.
Vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking rocking.
I'm gonna hyphenate that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Honest. Sappy.
No, no, different word.
No, you don't get to dictate my reality.
All right, fine, sappy. That's right. I've never done that before, and you're right. Thank you for fact checking me on that. We'll put sappy in there. I might not agree with it, but that it is your 5 words. Okay, and is there?
It's one of the 5. How many do I have left? 2?
No, you're at 4. But it's 5 words or less. And what is it? Welcoming. Well, okay, I like that. I like 4 of those words very much. Okay.
There's a little one for you, judgmental. Don't ask
I love you too.
Like
I love you too. That's it. No, all right, fine. I'm going to ask you the hard question twice. All right. So who is taking the next one? Who's doing it?
Phil. Dude, it's Phil. We already said of like a
okay.
Half here.
Okay. So
someone almost lost an eye there. That was a dangerous moment for Aurora Fallen. But okay, so you're going next, Phil. What's your deal, Phil?
Let's see. That's a tough one because again we can go off on this for a while. But I would definitely
you get 5 words.
I see why there's a controversy.
Right? Yeah. No.
Is the controversy like should you be asking this?
This isn't even the question. This isn't even the one.
Can you hyphenate heartfelt?
That's one word. I don't even have to hyphenate it. So you're good. Heartfelt. I could put a hyphen in it, but I'm going to put it between like the A and the R. So yeah. All right. Go ahead.
Grammar isn't as strong suit.
I can only count to 4, and I have 5 toes, so I get screwed up sometimes too. Anyways. So
heartfelt.
So I'd say heartfelt, powerful.
That's 3 words right there, right? Okay. No, I'm kidding. So heartfelt. Okay.
Powerful. You said powerful.
Powerful.
That's one of the 3.
Original.
Okay.
Unique.
One more.
I can come up with this. Can I use one that Felipe already used?
No.
Or does it all have to be
You
different?
use one that relates to your experience playing with us.
Thunderous. There we go. Okay.
All right. That's
Thunderous.
a total drummer
Okay.
move.
Yeah.
That was a total
By the way, you can repeat words. Many people choose not to, but that is not a party foul around here. You are allowed to.
I'll go with thunderous. That's a good word.
I like it. Thunderous. Okay. It is very percussive. So, okay, Owen, this is it. You're the lyricist.
It's a heartfelt, but yeah.
All right, 5 words, right?
Yes, theoretically at least, yes.
Okay. Story of my life, bitches.
Nice.
Okay. I love that taking that as a list now. It's going to be of and bitches. But okay, we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave that as a phrase. I like that. Okay, story of my life, bitches. I like it. No one has ever used bitches before, so I feel like we're they're just breaking new ground all over the place.
That's where unique comes in.
You didn't 86 bitches.
I either just made it or broke it. So
and thunderous as well. I think if we're this is so this okay. All right, we're good. Thunderous bitches. You guys need to start a side project called Thunderous Bitches. I think. Okay. All right. So
That's
each
your
of
production company.
you, Thunderous
Your
Bitches.
management company.
I can totally see that just across the screen. Okay, so for each of you, though, your favorite thing about being a musician.
Mm.
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 I mean, it doesn't have to be like in 10 words, right?
No, you get as many words as you want.
Like
Okay,
40
no,
paragraphs.
this is actually easy. Is this the one you thought would be hard for me?
No.
No.
Great.
And if you don't think the one I think is hard, I'm going to think of a harder one for you. So we're just going to work until we get there. But, all right. You can take it. You can do it.
You do not realize how terrified I am right now.
Oh, honey, I got you. Don't be terrified. It's not bad at all. It's really not. Okay,
No,
so your
this is
favorite
actually
thing.
easy, and
Okay.
I'm sure a lot of people that perform music in front of people understand. I'm a typically pretty reserved person, but
Okay.
for some reason, playing music in front of people, despite being on a stage, like I feel completely comfortable to kind of like be myself and do my
Cool.
thing.
Very
And
cool.
admittedly, like a lot of that is just kind of being in my own head and doing my own thing. And I don't often get to focus on the people around me. But that's like my place. Like I get to, I love it that people are around. I love it that periodically I get to sneak a peek at how people are experiencing it. But for me, it's the experience that I'm having, and it's undoubtedly the funnest, most enjoyable, freeing thing that I do.
Oh, I love that. No, I love that. And so, I mean, do you experience that more as being more yourself or being less like yourself than usual?
It's being a authentic version of myself that does this and is cool with it.
Okay, very cool.
Like that's unique for me. I'm not able to do that easily. And I have a therapist, obviously. And
who doesn't? Jesus, who doesn't?
But like, her comment was like, it's interesting that you're such an introverted, reserved person, but the way you describe playing music in front of people, which is, I mean, look at how Owen describes it. It's obviously like a very vulnerable thing.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like a very, like, I get to just kind of do it the way that I want.
Yeah.
And I think it's obviously unique to me. And I think that it's authentic, and I think people can see that, and I think that's what people connect with.
That's
the authenticity.
cool.
Even if it's like fucking weird and like, I don't know, neurodivergent, almost certainly.
I don't think there's anything more beautiful than watching someone be truly joyful and comfortable in their own skin in a moment. I don't think there's anything better than that in the entire world. And like, I know what you mean, because it's believe it or not, I'm also an introvert. I know it doesn't seem that way because I talk so fucking much, but like I am, and I understand that feeling of like that's why I asked you the question, is like you're simultaneously not yourself and completely yourself, and that like there are very few things in the world that evoke that. So I completely hear you. It's great.
It just seems like a thing that I am being who I am, that I am like super grateful that I get to do, because I don't think that that's something that I otherwise would have gotten into.
Yeah. Good luck, guys, topping that one. That's a great answer. All right, Phil, you're up.
I can give a little bit simpler of an answer, but it's truly how I feel. Probably what I like the most. It came from actually joining Aurora Fallen. None of the other bands really touched on this one, but it's literally the fact that I get to share the stage with 4 of my favorite fucking people on the face of this planet. Because, like I said, and I mean that too, because
who's the other guy?
Myself. No, you gotta have some inspiration somewhere, right? No, I'm kidding. No, okay. 3 of my favorite people on the planet. So, like,
I actually prefer 4, including you. I'm gonna keep it. That's headcanon for me now. You're good.
You know what? You have to like yourself. So there you
do.
Go.
But so it's specific to this band. So being able to be in this band with these guys.
Yeah, well, it's just like, Cole's much younger, but the fact is that, he's needed what we would consider brothers or a family or whatever, and so we've, been there for him. Owen, I have no clue why this guy is one of my best friends. I mean, I'm really questioning that right now.
I would say.
But, no, seriously, I mean, and just the fact of the matter that this guy literally is the key that got me back into music, like that, and even though being kind of amateur and really shaking the rust off, he never stopped believing in me. So I mean, that speaks volumes of who he is, and he never stops believing in me anyways. I mean, and then Felipe, he comes on board.
It also speaks volumes to who you are, Phil.
Right.
Just by
Perfect. Yeah, that works for me too. But then Felipe comes on 5-6 months ago, and a just instant connection. And the funny thing is like even at that, this guy, I connect with him so well when we're actually performing live because, he'll actually give me cues and stuff like that. Okay, we're starting now and whatnot. He gives me this look. It's almost kind of creepy. I'm attracted to you type of look.
It's time to, let's get it on.
Then you start doing some Al Green playing and everything. I almost
all right.
It's like I'm getting drawn into him or something. I'm kidding.
It's part of the fun,
It's him being who he is, Phil. He's just being who he is, and that look, that Tom Jones panty peeler look, that's just part of the fucking character, man.
I was thinking more like a William Gacy look or something like that. But,
okay. Well, that's a little less sexy, but okay. All right. It's the Brazilian magic. You can't. Okay. So you are in your brotherhood. You are with your people.
That's it. I mean, these
Safe
guys
space.
I mean, seriously. Okay, we've laughed a lot, but seriously, these guys are supportive of who I am.
Yeah.
They're supportive of me as a musician. I mean, we get angry together, but we get over it. We laugh together. And eventually it all just comes together, and then we have a great time. It's really, it's my break from life, also, if you will, to come over and practice music or to be on stage with these guys and whatnot. Even at that, Owen's gotten me. I'm still working on some stuff as far as the creative writing department goes, but I'm even working on writing songs too.
Very cool.
Obviously, we all in this band have a story to tell.
Yes.
And so instead of being just completely and totally blunt about it, it's good when you hear lyrics like Crow's Own to turn around and say, okay, how do I relate that without being painfully obvious about what this is?
Exactly. Right.
So,
exactly.
But,
okay.
Yeah, so it's inspired. These guys inspire me when I'm away from them too, which is awesome. Something healthy to do with my free time.
Mm-hmm.
My free time. What the fuck is that again?
Yeah, I know. I was like, I'm sorry, define that. What the hell is that? Okay, all right. So you have found your musical home. I love that. That is a vaunted position to be in. That's
Well,
rare.
it's a biased opinion, but I mean, there's hardly three guys that I would rather be performing with, and I mean, again, maybe a biased opinion, but that's
bias doesn't mean it's not accurate. So I'm down with it. I would
right,
endorse that, having based on this conversation alone. So
well, it's just the opportunity to grow together and all that stuff, and that's exactly what we've done. It's just
Well, and now that you have Felipe, and I think you guys have completed band Voltron, you will see that the music will even evolve from here. So I'm excited for that.
Absolutely.
But all right, Owen, this is it. Your favorite thing about being a musician? It's looking at Felipe, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, how could it not be? It's
All
that look.
I just love to watch him.
All right. What's your close second, though, to that?
Favorite part about being a musician, honestly, for me, it's therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't have a therapist. I probably should. but music is my therapy.
Yeah.
And especially performing live. Like, that is the most therapeutic part about being a musician for me. Is like, we were talking about Daily Limit earlier, and they were talking about the performance that we had over in Absorki, and like, so the reason why I was singing as hard as I was and didn't sing all the lyrics to that song was because I was actually like bawling my eyes out up on stage as I was singing the song. I don't know where it came from, but it was a release, and obviously I needed that release, and that's how I got it.
Yeah.
You know, being able to share my story with people, so let them know, like, you're not alone. Like, I was there myself. Phil talked about his dad. I lost my dad to suicide pretty close to the same time that he did. And that's where Daily Limit came from. I didn't realize that up until a year later when I was mixing the song and was doing a radio test in the car as I was driving along, and just completely lost my shit as I was driving 80 miles an hour down the interstate. You know, so that's really, that would have to be my favorite part about it, is just being able to share my experience with everybody and get that release from it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, it's astounding to me what people endure. Just, you know, like, life is so beautiful and it's so brutal, and it's all of that at the same time, all the time, you know, and like, it's to have whatever kind of means of processing and releasing that you can. It's crucial. Like, I don't think people get by any other way, you know, and I do think that music, you know, you're not the first person to give that answer on this show, but it's as valid every single time, because I think sometimes it's the only thing that's a constant for people, you know, and it is safety, and it is a home, and it is a place to, you know, put all of that. But it's, you know, it's a great, I mean, it's three great answers, really. And what I love too is that everything that you guys say dovetails with the other so well, you know, and it makes so much sense. This is such a perfect musical family. I'm just sad that Cole wasn't here too, because I feel like I'm missing a piece of the picture there. But I don't know, when I have you guys back, you know, next week or whatever, we'll have but okay, so but the flip side of that is now for each of you, your least favorite thing about being a musician.
Start with me, obviously.
I think your fate has been sealed in terms of the order, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's the insecurities that come from it.
Yeah.
Because I have such an admiration and a respect for people that can artistically do the things. I mean, like, not only just like the actual tangible ability to like play music, but I mean, Jesus Christ, like to like do that and actually like be authentic and honest and like actually do that in a cathartic way where you're actually expressing some like deep personal thing about you. Like, I mean, like not even getting into that, like just the ability that musicians have to, you know, do what they do. It just kind of makes me feel insecure. And I know that that's like my own thing. And I know that like the knee-jerk reaction to anyone that hears that is like, blah, blah, blah. And like, I hear that all the time. Like,
no, you're allowed to feel that way. I mean, that's
like all my friends are like, no, you're talented. I'm like, yeah, cool. But I mean, that's just kind of my experience. And I kind of feel that a lot of people experience life, not necessarily art, but life, work, whatever in that way. And that's just kind of my experience. And it, I mean, the positive side about that, I mean, if I'm coming full circle, the positive side of that is that if you can kind of somehow get to that other side of that, it's pretty fucking rewarding.
No, I love that you said that too, because I think anytime anybody expresses an insecurity or they say something critical about themselves or whatever, and it's not like it's a genuine thing that is legitimate for them, people do tend to negate it immediately because I think they don't like feeling uncomfortable about how other people feel about themselves, you know, and it's like, well, it's not about you, dude. Like I'm still okay, but like I do feel insecure. And that idea of insecurity or just, you know, always wanting to be better or be able to do more or express yourself better with your instrument or your voice or to be able to write things or whatever. I hear that a lot. And I think I feel like, especially for artists, whether it's music or fine art or writing or whatever, that's such a through line, you know? And I think it's, in a way, maybe it's good because it keeps you iterating, you know? You're not stuck. Like the people that I know who don't have that, I don't know. Something is missing there. Like, I think if you think you're golden, it's usually, it doesn't go well after that. Like, you know, people who think they know everything, like nobody wants to hang out with that dude. So like, yeah. So no, I hear you. And I think it's a great answer. And I think it's something a lot of people relate to, a lot of people. So, all right, Phil, what about you? Least favorite thing about being a musician?
I think we'll just take it back to an old joke that Owen started about me. Most showtimes are around my bedtime. No, anyways, when you don't play until 9 o'clock. Okay. Anyways,
11 o'clock, whatever. You know.
See, it's funny. Most drummers usually say it's load in and load out. So I was wondering if you were going to go there.
No, we do that.
That was one time.
Oh no!
There's a story that was that too.
Well, look. I mean, to be fair, he is napping at that time. Okay, so like, you know, you have to, you got to help him out. But all right. So if it's not load in and load out,
no, honestly, I think it's probably, maybe this might tie into something like Felipe was saying, is just trying to be on your A game, especially at shows all the time. One of my most frustrating things that happened actually recently at our most recent show was it was kind of crazy. I was taking a personal mastery class for business and for just life. And anyways, I hadn't slept much, and I started developing a sinus infection the Thursday before this show, and I was so freaking sick. And by the time the showtime came up, and then we got pushed out until about 11:30. So I think I'd been awake for roughly about 22 hours at that point. Because I'm early to rise. I'm usually up and out the door for the gym by 5 in the morning.
You said two things I don't like, one right after the other. You said 5 in the morning and gym. That's like, nobody wants to go to the gym at 5 in the morning, but okay, look at that. That's why he keeps giving you that look, Phil. You got to watch it with those arms. But okay, go ahead. So you were blown out, and you were on like no sleep in almost a full day, and you had to play a show.
And so we brought up that cover that we do of No Diggity. Not long ago, and that's one of my favorite songs to play. It's fun.
I bet.
And I mean, we can take it different directions when we play it. And me, I mean, I've listened. Luckily enough, it was one that I recorded, because at that point I'm so sick and I'm so tired that I decided to go ahead and set it up on my phone stand, and I took a recording of it. I realized just how bad I performed on that one, and I've actually been pissed at myself every time I watch it. But then at the same time, I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm like, I actually played that shitty live, and so I mean, timing was off. There were just a lot of mistakes, fillers where they made no sense. I mean, it just like, oh man. I mean, and I couldn't tell you whether it was just a bad ear monitor system or if I was just sick and tired and everything. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is that I was definitely not on my A game that night.
There was no monitor system at this gig.
There we go.
I've played those, and it is terrifying. It is high wire without a net. It is awful. It is the worst thing. Yeah.
It was my Fishman amp pointed at him, so that he could hear my vocals and guitar part, and then the bass and the lead guitar were like semi-quasi pointed not at him.
But like, even
good, because you, especially as a drummer, don't need to hear the bass or anything. Like, why would that matter?
No, God, no. Actually, so it was funny though, because I watched that video several times, and then I decided to go ahead and have fun with it. So I posted it on Facebook just to humiliate myself, because I mean, why not, right? Have fun.
I love that. Like breaking news on 22 hours not sleeping with a sinus infection. Phil was not at the top of his game. News at 11. Like, I mean, you got to give yourself grace though on that one. But I hear what you're saying is that the main point is, that it is pressure. You always want to be right on point. And, and again, as I've said a million times on this show, the rhythm section is like, you guys have such responsibility. It has to hold everything down. And especially with a song like that, if people are up and they're moving, that's you guys. So it is a lot to be on point all the time.
Well, with the following that Owen has developed for us on Facebook, and then the fact that correct me if I'm wrong on this, we've been the headliner at every show we've played. So I mean, there's high expectations there. Also, I mean, literally
that is
from
rough.
the beginning, because there's a lot
other
of
bands are pretty fucking great.
Oh yeah,
I know.
Like a killer set.
But there's a lot of pressure on us to just be on our A game at all times, and so when I just, like I said, I watched that video several times just trying to learn from it. Like, God dang it, what the hell? But that's also me critiquing it. I mean, I had a lot of people turning around saying, "Man, you did so good." I'm like, "Were we watching the same fucking video?" Because
there's musicians listening to their set, and then there's the audience listening to the set, and then there's always that guy. There's always that guy. But except for that guy, nobody ever hears what we hear. But I think the other thing is like. But it is, right? Like at every fucking show.
You get it. You so get it.
What is that guy? It's just like, and you can only, and especially if you're wired like I am, there could be thousands of people in the room who are like, yeah, and it's that one fucking guy, and he's the one that I will be watching all night. Cause it's like, why aren't you?
Yeah, don't watch that dude.
Nope. He's the one when I throw my stick to the crowd that I'm aiming for.
But I will tell you before we move on to Owen, Phil, I have both seen and been in bands where they would have played that exact set exactly the way that you did and not realized it wasn't good. So at least you can take that from it.
We tell them.
Oh, trust me, I'm sitting in front of two of my favorite critics.
We got it. We're on it.
But I do mean to say though that self-awareness is a good thing, even though if it's uncomfortable sometimes. Because I know people where I'm like. Yeah. Do you hear yourself? Oh my God. And some people just don't. Those are the people that go audition on American Idol and you're like, did no one ever tell you not to go like that? So yeah, I hear you. Okay. All right. Owen, least favorite thing about being a musician.
Least favorite thing about being a musician for me is, so I'd read an article where B.B. King was being interviewed, and he talked about how every time he performs, he's really like an actor, right? So how he is on stage versus how he is normal day to day is not quite the same, right? He's not always sad. He's not always mad. He's not, whatever emotions he's emitting through his music. For me, I found that extremely relatable because for me, I would be your method actor. So like, it doesn't matter if it's a rehearsal or on stage in front of people. We could be playing to 3 people and I'm going to put myself into that space no matter what.
Yeah.
Right. Even if it's at my own demise. Right. So, because I want people to feel what I'm feeling, you know, and there's only one way to do that. And that's to actually have those emotions. Otherwise, you're just up there as another person singing a song. So when you were talking earlier about how, you know, how it is that you can sing the same song and not have it just become
wallpaper.
Wallpaper. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
It's probably my least favorite part because it's like reliving every single one of those moments over and over again.
Well, that's it. It takes a toll, right? Because I mean, like there is a difference between, you know, reciting the words and feeling them. And it is, that's gotta be exhausting emotionally, you know, and it's interesting because it's in a way your least and most favorite things about being a musician are the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I understand that on an elemental level. I do, because it's there are some things in life that are so wonderful and so difficult, and it's all at the same time, and they feed you and they take from you simultaneously, and it's a weird thing to be able to balance. But given everything that I know about you guys, and especially the way that your bandmates describe your performances, that makes a ton of sense to me. And the space that you have to live in mentally to get there. Oof, you know, maybe I think it's very good that Monster is coming, you know, like it'll give the light one, right? Yes. What I will now forever think of as the Pirates of the Caribbean song by Aurora Fallen.
Song about pirates and shit.
Pirates and shit. I think you should change the name of the song to that, Pirates and Shit.
Pirates and Shit.
But it has to be like with the N and the little apostrophe. Yeah, you got to own it. But all right, this is the question I think that Felipe might hate me for.
Ooh,
so,
anybody listening?
If you had to choose just one album to listen to for the rest of your life, what album would it be for each of you, and why? I know.
This might be kind of cheating, but it's a compilation album.
No, that's fair. I will give it to you. If you're smart enough to think of it, I will give it to you.
Oh my God. You don't know how validating that is. It's Dire Straits' Money for Nothing.
Okay. Tell me why that one. I mean, it's a great album, but tell me why specifically that one for you.
It's got like a broad range of tones and like, you know, what makes you feel. Like, is this just like a kind of grooving song, or is it like a, you know, slow enough that it kind of, regardless of what it's actually about, because I don't fucking know. Like, I could probably Google it, but
I'm almost done.
Just kind of whatever it is that's making me feel at the moment.
Okay, and you just a few more minutes.
It could be awesome, and I'm a little distracted. Fucking Phil.
Phil's poor 11-year-old is like, tell this lady to shut the fuck up.
I don't have kids, but all their kids are fantastic. I'm here for it.
Okay, but so it gives you all these different emotional notes that you can hit,
that I could potentially hit.
Okay.
Depending on what's happening. So I mean, if you're giving me one, like, it's kind of got to be all encompassing, right?
Yeah. No, I like it. Okay. Very clever. Very clever. We've had people ask if they could do like you know, like a box set, and I'm like, I don't know,
Alice
but yeah, but
music box. That'd be my box set.
Okay. All right. That's fair too. All right. Phil, what about you? One,
but it's true.
No, I don't. Nobody's gonna be mad at you for that either. But Phil, one album for the rest of your life. What is it?
Don't say fucking Led Zeppelin.
Then why shouldn't
I? The look you just got for that one.
Then why shouldn't I?
Sorry.
Well, guess what? Felipe guessed it. Which one?
I know my man.
Dude, you
You. Hey, come on.
Oh no! Don't leave him hanging. All right, there we go. Look at that.
Which one though?
Which one?
Which one? Which album?
The fourth one. I
Led
think
Zeppelin 4.
I think they tend to call it Zoso. But yeah, that one.
I mean, who's gonna argue with that?
Yeah, it's just I was struggling between that and Metallica's Injustice for All, to be perfectly honest. But
that's been a popular answer on this one. Okay.
But no,
okay.
I'd have to go with Zeppelin because I mean it's got that bluesy rock sound that I like, and it jumps around all over the place. I mean, with you can go from something hard hitting like with a powerful intro like Black Dog to something really cool and just hard hitting the whole time, such as the Misty Mountain Hop. You got Stairway to Heaven, and one of my favorites, which is probably not one of the more popular ones on there, is the Battle of Evermore.
No, that's great. Yeah, it's a great song. Yeah.
So, yeah, open to it. I mean, matter of fact, that's how they opened that show in Madison Square Garden I was talking with earlier. Was they played rock and roll?
Okay, the one in '69. Okay, all right, all right.
Yeah.
I got
So,
you.
I
Okay,
mean-
so you're going with Zeppelin. That is a solid.
Very safe.
Very safe.
Okay. Okay. You will never get a sunburn, Phil, because Felipe is providing all the shade.
So much shade.
All right, so Owen, I'm interested to hear you too. What is your desert island album? Because I cannot, based on what you have named so far, I cannot think of what you're gonna pick.
It's gonna be a shaman's.
It's nostalgic. It's gonna be nostalgic.
This one's hard. This one is really hard, actually, for me, because I pull so much influence from everywhere. So I would have to go with.
This is a dirty trick.
It really is.
You do this every time?
I have asked the same 5 questions of every single person. We're somewhere near 50 interviews now, I think, and this is the one. Ambrose from Anger Overdose. There's the Anger Overdose reference. Ambrose from Anger Overdose looked at me like if I were a car, he would have dismantled me in seconds. He was so unhappy with this question. And and I love Ambrose to death, so I know I was in no actual vehicular danger there, but he was not happy with me with that question at all. And people will be like, "Oh fuck, do I only have to pick one?" Like, yes, you only have to pick one. But I love asking this question because it really does make you make some very difficult choices.
Because you have to explain it. You can't just say a word and
you
walk
can't
away.
just you can't just exactly. You have to really commit. So all right, where you said that like you had an answer and you were like, I think I'm gonna have to go with I don't know. So where are we going?
So Phil was close. It's close. Like it could be a Shaman's Harvest album, Broken Hearts, Broken Guns.
Okay.
But
you're like, but it's not.
I would have to go with Dave Matthews Band live at the Red Rocks.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's and Ibid all of the things that you said about that obviously as to why, but okay. All right. So we have 3 quite different.
And I'm sure Cole's would be one of the Black Keys. Black Keys
Black
albums.
Keys or Black Sabbath.
No, Black Keys. It'd be Black Keys for sure.
Okay, or Black Eyed Peas if we're going.
Nope. I mean, he has
Black Street for that matter.
He has the same guitar. as
come on, Cole loves Lady Lumps and all of that. I mean, he's not here. We can make up whatever we want.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yes, I think Cole's album would have to be. What was Baby Shark on?
Oh God! But like the metal remix of Baby Shark. But okay, all right. So now
I wouldn't go that far. He likes it just the way it is.
Shit, Cole. I'm sorry. Cole is gonna have an addendum to this interview.
Yeah.
He's gonna sue us.
Yeah.
That's defamation.
Defamation.
We're gonna have to have like a little placard after this airs, like shortly after this interview aired. Cole left the band and just walked up going, "Baby Shark, this motherfucker." But all right, guys, we are at the final question, and again, you're going to have to give me a second here. I have to gather the crowd because there are a lot of emotions running high here. Okay, so Freaky Things is saying, don't do this. Don't do it. I like you guys. Okay, so Freaky, calm down. Dom from Jamsteak is quietly just taking in what's likely going to happen next. Okay, so we have to settle the crew. Okay, and here it is.
Take a breath.
This is it. The last question. It's led us to this point. We've gone many different ways, and it all leads to this. I apologize in advance, but your toilet paper roll, when you put it on the holder, does the toilet paper come from over the top? Does it come from under the bottom? And why? Felipe, it's all you, baby.
As a person living on Earth, why would you make things harder for yourself than necessary?
Okay.
Why would you make it harder to access the thing that you need?
I know where you're going with this. Over.
And this is coming from a person that grew up in an under household.
Ooh, you were a rebel. Okay.
I didn't realize it until much later in life. Like, why do you have to make things harder for yourself? No, I know this is like stupid, but
no, you would not believe the level.
No, this is fucking profound.
Okay, here we go. I'm here. I'm ready. I got you. Tell me.
There's a limited bandwidth that we have for life. Mm-hmm. You know, every little thing that we go through in our individual days takes some amount of effort.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you make things harder for yourself than necessary? There's literally no benefit to under. Literally no benefit.
That's coming from physical science.
I was gonna say this is a
right
scientifically supported, vehement, and really about the economy of energy transfer and mental bandwidth and humanity itself. This is a hardcore overdude. Okay, all right, Phil. Over, under, something else entirely. Where do you land?
So that's got to go along with the type of toilet paper you buy. See, I have to have at least 2-ply, otherwise I'm going to be getting in touch with my inner self.
That is not the question, Phil. Focus.
But no, I'm still focused.
But now we can't unlearn that information now. So let's all just thank Phil for that.
I'm just saying, quality is everything when it comes to toilet paper. Don't get in touch
don't
with
think
yourself.
anyone out there. It is no one is disputing you. Yes, one ply might as well be no ply. So we're all with you there.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay. So, thank you, Phil. Thank you.
Yeah, unlike Felipe, I have to go with the under method because if I look.
No, Felipe said over. Wait. Let's clarify here. Felipe said over.
Unlike.
You said over. I'm saying under.
Oh, you said unlike. You are an under.
Yeah.
Okay.
I never really thought about it too much until this exact minute.
This is the genius of this show. It's a thing that you and I have blown open your world now. It's like doing ecstasy, but about toilet paper, talking to some random chick.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I say this as someone who's never done any of that.
After we're done here, I have so many questions for you.
Okay, I will answer them. But wait a minute now, Phil. I need to let you know.
Yeah.
Freaky Things hates you now, first of all, but that's okay.
Jamsteak loves you.
Dom from Jamsteak loves you. You have joined an incredibly elite group of individuals. I think we're hovering somewhere around 10, 11, 12 out of 75, 100 people. Yeah. So you are in rarefied air here. Okay, so under. So tell me why again. Why under? Because this is an explosive, no pun intended, moment.
I find it's easier as a right-handed man to be able to do the old quick rip. Just right off of there.
Wait. What does handedness have to do with it?
Nothing.
If it's on the left side, you might be more of an over guy.
Yeah, but if you're in a stall, It could be hung on the right or the left.
We're talking in general. It doesn't matter whether you're in a stall or in your own.
Anyways, like and subscribe. See you guys.
I'm just trying to figure out like Phil's bathroom twister
situation.
No,
if you go with the over method, you're likely to get.
Yeah, don't try to get into his mind.
No, seriously.
Or his bathroom for that matter. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I mean, if you don't have it under the quick rip, you're guaranteed to get as much toilet paper as you reached for. Whereas the over method, if you don't do the quick rip, you're going to wind up with probably about 4 extra sheets.
God forbid.
Because it's going to kind of unroll a little bit.
How are you ripping toilet paper off, man?
He is a master.
Like, no. I mean,
of the toilet paper arts. That is what he. So you are telling me if you were a lefty, you would be an over guy? This is a handedness based issue for you?
I don't know because I'm not left-handed.
Okay.
I will purposely reach across to the left side and grab that toilet paper with my right hand.
Okay. All right. You will cross the midline for. Okay. So we have a band divided.
Exactly. You get the quick rip going because you've got the right hand going to the left side.
I don't really know how we move past this.
I feel
we
like
should move on.
I have a feeling.
But now Owen is the tiebreaker here because Cole, and I'm gonna hope for a variety of reasons, no one can speak to Cole. Oh, you do know Cole's toilet paper.
I know that. Like, I mean, he's definitely.
I'm not gonna ask, and I really don't want you to tell me how you know that. But
it's
okay,
just his personality.
Wait, do you know this for a fact, or is this informed conjecture?
I could call him right now and find out. I can guarantee he's going to say.
I'm gonna. If you think he's there, I'm gonna have you do that. This is a boxing guest first. We're gonna call the guy, and you're gonna ask him where his toilet paper is, and you're gonna hang up, and it's gonna be the greatest thing ever. Don't even give him any context.
So don't even let him know.
Does your toilet paper hanging over or under right now?
Yeah, that's it. Does your toilet paper go over under and then hang up? Okay, here we go.
He's like, I'm fucking caring for my child. What do you want?
He's not gonna answer.
Oh, damn it. Oh, come on.
Come on, Cole.
If he doesn't answer you, I'm going to call him.
He's going to think there's an emergency.
Oh, this is going to be extremely disappointing.
We will never.
I'm going to keep calling him while I'm talking.
Your call.
Okay.
We should ask the lady what her thing is. Don't scare him. All right, so Owen, you've got it. No, you've got it. You have to commit to your own confirmed decision. Are you over, under, or what? What's your deal?
More importantly, why?
As much of a fight as you put up against me, it better be over.
So here's the thing, though. Okay.
Uh-oh.
In 2020, there was a toilet paper shortage.
That's right.
And I said, why keep buying toilet paper?
Oh, are you
bidet?
You're a bidet guy?
Bidet.
No shit.
I have the freshest asshole ever.
Wait. Will you please?
No, to confirm that, he doesn't have any toilet paper on his.
No, please let's not confirm whether he has the freshest asshole because there's just let's let that just.
You don't want live footage of this?
No, you know what? This is not a show about like space or black holes or anything. We don't need a no.
It's a safe space.
I will believe him. I will believe him that he has a yes. Okay, so you're a bidet guy
all day long, and if I can't use one.
Do you just like shake a can of Coke and put some Mentos in it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Homemade bidet. Yeah.
Just a homemade hole blaster, right? No.
That's your other band. Yeah. Okay. Homemade.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Thunder of speech using homemade hole blaster. I love it.
Now, if the toilet paper is backwards, I'm gonna wipe my ass on your rug.
Backwards
as in under. That shit better be flopped over the top of the roll as the U.S. patent shows.
Okay.
All right. It literally is patented.
But you personally are a bidet user. So you go in the other category. We have four categories. We do have a running tally that will be on the screen.
Wait, hang on a second.
Over, under, other, and Dean. Dean is from the other Broken Ones. Dean is an absolute shit goblin, literally and figuratively. And no matter what a roll of toilet paper's orientation is, he will switch it to the opposite just to fuck with everybody. So we had to make him his own category. But so we have an over, an under, and an other. And we don't know Cole because Cole apparently loves his child more than talking about toilet paper with random women on the internet. That's fine, you know.
Makes sense.
It's not the OnlyFans for everyone, but I get it. So okay, so this band is truly split. This is wild. This is some wild.
This is
shit.
our last public engagement
Yeah,
together.
so
we will not survive this.
Aurora Fallen
Felipe is done now. He's
drummer.
just done. That's it.
Yeah.
No, you guys are not allowed to break up, especially not over toilet paper. It's just
As
you're
a
not
South
allowed.
American, like the fact that my bandmate loves bidets, like that is more of a connection than I could have possibly expected.
There you go. You thought it was about the music.
Weird, obviously.
Yeah. You thought it was just.
Have you had a bidet? Have you ever used a bidet?
No, I don't think so.
The most amazing.
You need to.
You will never feel better after using the restroom than after using a bidet.
I feel like I
guarantee it.
see a sponsorship in your future.
Tushy.
Aurora flushing.
Clip this, send it to Tushy, and you will get money.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me there isn't a bidet company named Tushy?
Yes, there is.
That literally is.
That's badass.
I'm pretty sure that's my brand. Actually.
That should be the tagline for Tushy. That's badass, but it should be that's good ass. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so we
It was badass.
and now it's not. Thanks to Tushy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've become spokespeople for Tushy, which is a sentence I never thought I would say. But listen, guys, I have to tell you, if it was not abundantly clear, I adore you. I adore you individually. I adore you as a band of people. I adore your music. And I love what you're doing, as I've said. And I'm so happy that you came on this show, as fucking weird as I'm sure it was for you guys. And please, Phil, apologize to your little one for us. I know she was very patient, but really, guys, seriously, subscribe, follow. They are doing well. They should be doing even better. Okay. And I know this community can rally. So definitely go love up those pages, listen to the music. And again, remember what I said, when you listen and it affects you, which it will, reach out, tell them, tell Owen, tell Phil, tell Felipe, tell Cole, if you can reach him by phone, just let them know, because I think what they're doing
is
that would be the best thing ever. And then he'll start getting calls from Tushy. I just know it. No, but listen, really, I do. I love you guys. This was so much fun for me. I felt like I was just hanging out with three people I've known my entire life. And I wish you all the best, not just musically, but just personally and individually. And stay here, be here, keep doing what you're doing. And thank you again for what you do and for spending the evening with me, as weird as it was for you guys.
Loved it.
Enjoyed every minute.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, guys, that's it. That's another Vox and Guest in the books. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.